It's Tuesday, August 25th.
This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that.
Strong words from Ontario's premier directed at the U.S. president after Canada walked away from trade negotiations over the weekend.
I will, as mayor, make clear with the federal government that I am opposed to the return to office mandate that they're imposing.
A promise to revert the City of Ottawa's return to office mandate from one mayoral candidate.
And the City of Ottawa's transit agency is forecasting a $12 million shortfall for 2026 as negotiations to upload the O train to the province are still underway. Your Morning Ottawa starts right now.
Good morning. Come on in. I'm Rosie Edda.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Willie Yellow.
I'm Melissa Lamb, and look at this. The gang is back together for the first time in quite some time.
I think at least a couple of weeks.
Well, I was off last week. You were off yesterday, so it's been a while.
And then I was off the week before, and then Rosie was alone, then you were alone. So we're here, and it's only for a couple of days.
Yeah, exactly. Then we'll go back to it. We're still in the dog days of
That's
summer.
right.
Folks deserve a little bit of time off here and there, especially you parents who are getting ready for kids going back to school. Melissa.
I will be off a couple days next week because we are getting ready for back to school, and I don't want to miss the first day of school. And that's the one thing about working mornings is I'm here, so I never see them leave to school.
Yeah.
So it's two special days that I have to take off because, of course, my kids start on different days this year.
Of course, of course. Well, that is understandable.
Yes.
We are going to get to today's top stories for you right now. Ontario Premier Doug Ford reacted to U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to increase tariffs on cars and trucks next year.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
The U.S.-Canada trade dispute turned into a war of words between Ford and Trump on Monday after Trump said in a Truth Social post he would increase tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts and steel to 50% on New Year's Day.
This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that. We're going to fight with everything we have. And you know something? I have more courage, more brains in my baby toe than he has in his whole body.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced over the weekend that Canada would impose dollar-for-dollar tariffs on the U.S. coming into effect on September 8th. Ottawa police say they are investigating a potential femicide following two suspicious deaths over the weekend. Sûreté du Québec first responded to a crash on Highway 50 near Papineauville shortly before 1 a.m. Saturday. A 34-year-old man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Hours later, police discovered the body of a 27-year-old woman inside a home in the city's Lower Town neighborhood. Police identified the deceased as Kelsey Fevrier and Kingsley Nwude of Ottawa. The relationship between the two is unknown. Return to office mandates are now driving debate in Ottawa's municipal election race.
I will, as mayor, make clear with the federal government that I am opposed to the return to office mandate that they're imposing.
Mayoral candidate Jeff Leeper is promising to reverse the city's 5-day rule and challenge the federal mandate if elected. He also says he wants more shared federal workspaces in Ottawa's suburbs, arguing shorter commutes would save workers time and money while reducing pressure on roads and transit. Incumbent Mayor Mark Sutcliffe calls Leeper's promise counterproductive and performative. As Sutcliffe seeks re-election, he says he will boost funding for rural roads, provide dedicated funding for rural infrastructure priorities, and advance plans to build a ring road while giving rural councillors a louder voice.
They don't want, as a result of amalgamation 25 years ago, to feel like all of the attention is on downtown Ottawa and the suburban communities. They want to feel like they have a say in the decisions that impact their daily lives, just like they used to do before amalgamation.
Sutcliffe is looking to increase funding for rural roads by $50 million. OC Transpo is sharing new details on its financial situation and projected deficit this year. The transit agency is forecasting a $12 million shortfall for 2026. That includes $47 million in funding from the provincial government, which has not yet been announced. The funding would only come through when the province uploads the LRT to Metrolinx, but negotiations are still underway. Staff say the deficit is largely due to lower than anticipated ridership, which was caused by bus reliability issues at the start of the year. WestJet flight attendants have voted to accept a contract deal struck between their union and the company. The union says over 90% of members voted to ratify the agreement. It was reached after months of talks that ultimately forced workers to go on strike earlier this month. Close to 4,400 flight attendants are now expected to get new compensation for work they previously did without pay. The pride flag is now flying high at Ottawa City Hall. It was raised yesterday as the city officially launched Pride Week. Capitol Pride celebrations and events are running all week, wrapping up Sunday with the Pride Parade through the downtown core. And finally, the first signs of fall. I said it, are just around the corner. As Starbucks launch their fall menu with the help of some familiar faces.
Pumpkin spice latte for Martha.
This smells like my house in the fall. It's perfect.
Can I get a straw? You would get a lot.
No. Well, if you didn't know, that is, of course, Martha Stewart with a fresh cup of pumpkin spice latte, reminding people what there is to love about this time of year. Joining her is no one other than off-campus actor Belmont Camelli.
And whether you take it hot or cold, the pumpkin spice latte, along with other fall favorites, is available at Starbucks beginning today. It's Garrett Graham to me, okay? It's Garrett Graham. Yes, I could tell he was in character a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will tell you that I read a full off-campus book on my vacation last week.
There you go.
Remember I was saying I haven't read a book in so long? Well, guess what? I opened it and finished it within 3 days.
We did talk about you. I can't remember now because it feels like it was a year ago, but we brought you up at some point with Off Campus last week, and we said we have to do our due diligence and mention this on behalf of Melissa. And there we go. She was reading the books that we knew.
I was reading the books on vacation, so now I'm into the next book. I can't wait because I bought all 8 of them, so I have a lot of reading to do.
So you mean that you open your book and they don't, the little ones don't attack you right away?
We went to the beach, and so there was sand.
Oh,
that they were
good one,
able to distract. There was lots of distractions in stopping and folding the pages, but you know, I was able to get some reading in, and then and they went to bed by the fire, read my book. It was so good.
Oh my gosh, Melissa, I love that for you.
I know. I was very happy. It's been a while since I've read a full book. So.
I'm okay with the distraction away from this pumpkin latte. Okay, just focus on the beach and the weather. We're not there.
No.
Especially an iced pumpkin latte for you. Will, I will say this. I had a pumpkin spice latte last week while I was reading my book.
Oh, come on.
I know. I just had to. Today's daytime high 22 degrees, so a little bit below seasonal. I swear it's feeling more and more like fall every single day, but don't worry. We still have some summer days left in the forecast for you. 15 degrees is how we're starting off our morning. We're seeing a little bit of fog out there to start things off. 16 in Brockville, Cornwall. A little bit of humidity in the forecast. It does feel closer to 19 this morning, so not as crisp as it was yesterday at this time. 20 in the valley, as well as in Kingston, 21 down in Brockville. So in our skies this morning, we are seeing some fog. So fog in the lower lying areas. You can kind of see that gray here on your screen. Looks like clouds. So cloudy start to your morning, foggy start to your morning. We will see that throughout the next few hours, and then into the day ahead. Unfortunately, there is a chance of some scattered showers today. So about a 40% chance that we could see scattered showers this morning right through into your evening. It will clear up overnight, and then we have a beautiful sunny day as we head into Wednesday. Look at this. Nice clear skies tomorrow. Lots of sunshine to be enjoyed. It will be a hot one as well, so summer is still very much alive here in the capital. As we head into Thursday, could see more of those spotty showers that will continue in through Friday, but we do have a beautiful weekend in store for you as well. So if you are heading to the golf course today, no thunder thunder and lightning as of yet in the forecast. No thunderstorms, just some scattered showers, but we could see that this morning into the afternoon. Still a little bit of sunshine kind of here and there, and a cooler day as well. Temperatures will reach a high of 22 degrees late in the afternoon today, but there is some humidity, so we'll feel closer to 28, 29 with that heat and humidity in the forecast. So it's still hot and sticky into the afternoon, but yes, temperatures a little bit below seasonal. 22 for Kempville, 21 in Brockville, 23 in Cornwall, 22 out in the valley for today. So in those low 20s across the region, 23 in Gatineau. The good news is tomorrow is a little bit hotter. So tomorrow's a good day to spend in the backyard by the pool or by the beach. 12 is the overnight low, so quite cool overnight for us tonight. 26 for tomorrow, mainly sunny skies. Beautiful day for Wednesday, staying hot on Thursday with a high of 25. As we head into the weekend, slightly cooler, but at least it's nice and sunny for Saturday with a high of 23. On your roads, still no major issues east to west. Traffic is smooth sailing as you head off to work this hour, and we are collision free.
TSN Must See Moment is brought to you by The Works, Craft Burgers and Cold Brews. Hot deals every day, all summer long.
Hello, everyone. I'm Glenn Sheeler in the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment for Monday. And for that, we're going to Chicago. First inning, one on for Andrew Benintendi, and he's going to drill this one to right. This is heading over the fence until Brandon Nimmo leaps and takes away the home run. This would have tied the game. Instead, it's an incredible catch. Nimmo making the grab with his glove over the wall. And yes, he's fired up, probably because he knows that home run robbery has earned him the must-see moment. Well, tonight on TSN, we've got some more Major League Baseball action. The Dodgers face the Braves. That's at 7 o'clock Eastern. And then the Cubs take on the Diamondbacks at 9:30 Eastern. That's all for now from the Sports Center newsroom, everyone. Have a great day.
And still to come on the show, years after the Ford government walked back its Greenbelt plans, local cities say that they are still waiting on hundreds of thousands of dollars in promised compensation. We'll have all those details coming up a little bit later on. Let's take a peek outside. Melissa letting us know about that fog advisory in effect, and you can see it through our Centennial Glass Skycam. Leave yourself a little extra time and be cautious while you drive. Happy Tuesday, everybody. 6:12. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
.14, welcome back. Here are the big stories we are following today on Your Morning Ottawa. As the trade war between Canada and the U.S. continues to escalate, Ontario Premier Doug Ford had a few choice words to say about Donald Trump. Ottawa police are investigating a potential femicide following 2 suspicious deaths over the weekend. And the pride flag is now flying high at Ottawa City Hall. We got your full newscast in 15 minutes, but why don't we take a peek at the weather with Will?
All right, so today a little bit below seasonal. We will see some sunshine throughout the morning, continuing into the afternoon, but we have a chance of showers kind of looming over for our Tuesday. Temperatures reaching a high of 23 degrees. Might need the umbrellas. Not a lot of rainfall, but still some precipitation potentially on the way. Continuing through the evening, what does tomorrow have in store? We'll have to wait for Melissa to come back into our studios. Let's take a peek at your roads at this hour, shall we? 6:15, everything's smooth sailing as of right now, but we do have some fog advisories in effect in some of the low-lying areas. So just leave yourself a little bit of extra time and definitely a little bit of room in front of the car in front of you. Municipalities say that they are still waiting for hundreds of thousands of dollars that they say was promised to them by the Ford government. That promise came years ago when the government backtracked its plans to develop the Greenbelt. CTV's John Woodward explains.
Under intense pressure 3 years ago, the Ford government reversed course on changes to the province's protected Greenbelt that would have made certain developers billions.
I made a promise to you that I wouldn't touch the Greenbelt. I broke that promise.
The change made after a growing scandal, including a CTV News report that one of the developers had gotten a massage in Las Vegas at the same time and venue as a PC minister. That minister and a staffer resigned. The second wave of resignations after Housing Minister Steve Clark and his deputy Ryan Amato, while Ontario's then Auditor General found the benefits were going to a select few.
The process was biased in favor of certain developers and landowners who had timely access to the Housing Minister's Chief of Staff.
Brought in to clean up, Paul Calandra, who promised municipalities wouldn't have to pay for all the work they had done prepping for development or managing boundary changes.
Reimbursing the taxpayers of the city of Pickering is the right thing to do.
That was all in 2023. Now it's 3 years later, and many of those municipalities say they're still waiting for the cash. Pickering says it has not received reimbursement for these specific costs of $360,000. Durham Region confirmed it has not received funding related to these costs, and Guelph said the information is accurate, that it's still waiting. All said they hope to continue working with the province. Reached at an event in Hamilton, NDP leader Marit Stiles laid this at the feet of the Premier.
Was he just misleading everybody, saying he was going to pay them back for all those fees, all that hundreds of thousands of dollars that our communities are out of pocket for his corruption, for his mistakes?
The Ford government is downloading the cost of their Greenbelt scandal onto the backs of municipalities and the people of Ontario.
Also still hanging after 3 years, the RCMP investigation into the deal. The Force saying Monday, be assured that the RCMP's Sensitive and International Investigations Unit is conducting a thorough investigation. That investigation is ongoing. To protect the integrity of the investigation, we cannot provide information at this time. John Woodward, CTV News.
And returning to one of our top local stories, one mayoral candidate says that he will overturn the City of Ottawa's return to office mandate if elected. Jeff Leeper unveiled his plan to restore flexible work to City Hall yesterday. He says he also plans to pressure the federal government to do the same thing. Let's check in with Bill Carroll for the Morning Rush on News Talk 580 CFRA to get his thoughts. And Bill, where do you want to start on this one?
You know, I don't follow him around, but I have a feeling he must be one of those final few people who still wear a mask everywhere they go because they can't get over COVID. Can we just move on and not make this a political issue in the election campaign? How many votes does he think he's going to get with this? Whereas, 17,000 people work for the city? How many of them are actually in the office as opposed to driving around, because that's where a lot of city workers are working. They're out in the field. They're out in trucks. I just can't believe that anyone thinks that this is a winning strategy for them, because when you ask employees not to come to work downtown, that has an impact, a negative impact on every business that's downtown. All of those people are going to think it's a bad idea. People who don't work for the public sector, because he did kind of hint, well, and I'll fight for the federal workers as well. Not that he could do anything about that, but he did hint that he would do that. So, you know, that's still a very small percentage of people. Everybody else who has to get up and drive to the office is going to think negatively about this. So, fine. I guess it's a municipal election issue in Ottawa now. Nothing we can do about that. It's out there, but I don't see it as being a winner. The other thing I want to say, Will, and then I'll let you get back to your show, is that my understanding is, and the mayor, current mayor, Mark Sutcliffe, talked about this yesterday, it was the top civil servant who determined that they should come back to work. I know in Ontario, it wasn't the premier, it was the top civil servant who looked at how inefficient the workforce had become and wanted workers back. This has not been driven much by politics. It's been driven by the people who actually run our civil service right across the country, who thought it was a good idea to get people back to the office more often.
And Bill, what do you think about the word that Mayor Sutcliffe used to describe this as performative?
That's not a bad word for it. Yeah, he wants to show that he's on the right side of things, like those masks that you see still in public every once in a while. I was at an appointment the other day, and the person with the mask on, they were the only person in the whole building with a mask on, mumbling at me. I couldn't understand a word they were saying. I'm no longer mask literate. I used to be pretty good at starting to figure it all out, but I don't know. We went back and forth. I kept saying, "What? I'm sorry. What? What did you say now? What did you say now?" This mask, it's unbelievable. And then I lean over and get even closer so I can hear.
Of course.
And now the mask is doing less good. COVID's over, people. Can we move on with our lives?
Yeah, Bill, you can't read the eyes anymore. You know, we've reverted back to the old days. Appreciate your time, my friend.
Have a great day.
You too. And remember, you can listen to more of Mr. Bill Carroll on The Morning Rush, which is on News Talk 580 CFRA every weekday from 6 till 10 in the morning. Stay with us, friends. We'll be right back with your news headlines. A few minutes till 6:30. We are talking about Jump In for Women's Heart a little bit later in the show, because that's going to be this September with a 30-day movement challenge. We'll have all those details on the initiative coming up a little bit later on our show. So today we wanted to ask for your comments on how do you stay heart healthy. Let us know. Email us at yourmorningottawa@ctv.ca. And I feel like all three of us are very on the same page, but Melissa, we'll start with you.
So, you know, for me, I'm very thankful that my husband cooks us our heart healthy meals. He's a very great cook, and he hates that I talk about being a good chef on the show because now at the fire hall, he's expected to make these wonderful meals. So he said, stop talking about me being a good cook. But he is, and he makes us heart healthy meals, and he tries to add different colors of the rainbow in our salads and on our plates, so to make sure we're eating healthy and walking. For me, that's my biggest thing. I used to get 10,000 steps. I've upgraded to 12,000 steps a day, so I'll go for an hour walk after the show when I get home, and that's really how I stay heart healthy. And then lifting weights 3 days a week for 25 minutes. That's kind of my whole mantra, what I try to do.
Checking all the boxes.
Yeah,
all right,
seriously.
Olympian, what do we do every day?
I'm with Melissa there. Lifting weights is the best way to strengthen your heart. Even if you think, I can't lift anything, start off with little light weights and then gradually move up. It's an incredible way to strengthen your entire body, including your heart. So yeah, I like to do that resistance work. Okay, Mr. High Rocks, Mr.
CrossFit.
Nonstop, Mr. CrossFit, what do you do?
Yeah, I would say we're all on the same page, like basically the exact same thing each and every day. Doing resistance training. I run 3 or 4 times a week. I sauna 4 times a week. Basically cook 95% of all my own meals, all just whole foods, and I love it. I think it's great for, obviously, for the heart, especially the sauna science lately about how great that can be for your cardiovascular health as you get older. And then it's great mentally too, so it just checks all the boxes, and I love it. I feel like all three of us love movement here on the show, and you feel so good after you do it, and you know that it's gonna be for longevity as you continue on.
And what a great thing to add a sauna, like if you can, because there's so many benefits, as you mentioned. Something I would love to add in our backyard once we get rid of the sandbox and the toys. And
oh, there you go. Are you throwing out hints out there? You know, maybe like somebody might be listening, a certain partner might be going, okay.
I'll stop mentioning how good of a chef you are if you get a sauna. I like it.
That's a good one. I can use that.
Not bad, eh? I still got it. That's because my sauna.
That's right.
All right, you heard from us. We want to hear from you a little later on in the show. We are asking, how do you be heart healthy? You heard from us. We all have different ways to do it. Let us know, yourmorningottawa@ctv.ca. Stay with us. We're cruising up to 6:30. Rosie has your news headlines right after the break.
Hope your morning's going well. I'm Rosie Edda.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Willie Yellow.
And I'm Melissa Lamb.
Earlier in the show, we were talking about some pumpkin spiced lattes and how they're being launched today by Starbucks, which means back to school's around the corner. Coming up a little bit later on, we're going to be talking about back to school health, and you're going to have that conversation coming up, which is really important this time of year.
All the little bugs and the little germs, including the worst one I hate, lice. It's the itty-gritty one that all parents are like, ooh.
Your face,
but it happens. I've had to deal with it before. It is not a fun process. So we have some great tips coming up. Doesn't it just make you itch? Just thinking about it?
It made me itch, especially as you did like the squirm face. That I felt like it was on me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not fun, but you know, you get the letter and you get the notice and you're like, oh no. So you start checking, and it's happened to us. It's very normal. And what do you do if it does happen? We have some great tips for you coming up in the 8 o'clock hour.
Looking forward to that conversation. Right now, we're going to get you started with today's top stories. Ontario Premier Doug Ford reacted to U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to increase tariffs on cars and trucks next year.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
Ford not holding back there. The U.S.-Canada trade dispute turned into a war of words between Ford and Trump on Monday after Trump said in a Truth Social post he would increase tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts, and steel to 50% on New Year's Day.
This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that. We're going to fight with everything we have. And you know something? I have more courage, more brains in my baby toe than he has in his whole body.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced over the weekend that Canada would impose dollar-for-dollar tariffs on the U.S., coming into effect on September 8th. Ottawa police say they are investigating a potential femicide following 2 suspicious deaths over the weekend. Sûreté du Québec first responded to a crash on Highway 50 near Papineauville shortly before 1 a.m. Saturday. A 34-year-old man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Hours later, police discovered the body of a 27-year-old woman inside a home in the city's Lower Town neighborhood. Police identified the deceased as Kessie Fevrier and Kingsley Nwude of Ottawa. The relationship between the two is unknown. Return to office mandates are now driving debate in Ottawa's municipal election race.
I will, as mayor, make clear with the federal government that I am opposed to the return to office mandate that they're imposing.
Mayoral candidate Jeff Leeper is promising to reverse the city's 5-day rule and challenge the federal mandate if elected. He also says he wants more shared federal workspaces in Ottawa's suburbs, arguing shorter commutes would save workers time and money while reducing pressure on roads and transit. Incumbent Mayor Mark Sutcliffe calls Leeper's promise counterproductive and performative. As Sutcliffe seeks re-election, he says he will boost funding for rural roads, provide dedicated funding for rural infrastructure, and priorities and advance plans to build a ring road while giving rural councillors a louder voice.
They don't want, as a result of amalgamation 25 years ago, to feel like all of the attention is on downtown Ottawa and the suburban communities. They want to feel like they have a say in the decisions that impact their daily lives, just like they used to do before amalgamation.
Sutcliffe is looking to increase funding for rural roads by $50 million. OC Transpo is sharing new details on its financial situation and projected deficit this year. The transit agency is forecasting a $12 million shortfall for 2026. That includes $47 million in funding from the provincial government, which has not yet been announced. The funding would only come through when the province uploads the LRT to Metrolinx, but negotiations are still underway. Staff say the deficit is largely due to lower than anticipated ridership, which was caused by bus reliability issues at the start of the year. WestJet flight attendants have voted to accept a contract deal struck between their union and the company. The union says over 90% of members voted to ratify the agreement. It was reached after months of talks that ultimately forced workers to go on strike earlier this month. Close to 4,400 flight attendants are now expected to get new compensation for work they previously did without pay. The pride flag is now flying high at Ottawa City Hall. It was raised yesterday as the city officially launched Pride Week. Capitol Pride celebrations and events are running all week, wrapping up Sunday with the Pride Parade through the downtown core. And finally, it's the final week of summer for many students here in Ottawa. It's okay, Will. And those who will be starting school for the first time had a chance to learn how to ride the bus over the weekend.
My school bus is so fast.
All right, I can get behind this one, okay?
Yeah.
The Ottawa Student Transportation Authority hosting a First Riders Day event for kindergarten students and, of course, their families on Sunday.
Students in the English public and Catholic boards begin classes next Tuesday, while the French boards begin classes today.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why does that? That makes me a bit emotional.
You and me
Seeing that
both,
little child on the
right?
bus going, wow, it goes really fast. Like, it takes me back. I remember that day, the first day. Took my daughter to school. She had a green dress on, white socks, black shoes, like shiny patent leather shoes, and a black big old book bag that was bigger than her.
Yeah.
and you just don't forget those.
No,
that
no.
first day.
Guess who starts school this year?
Look at Melissa.
Lola,
Oh,
my
my
youngest,
goodness.
my baby.
Oh.
So when I came back to work, she was just a year and a half, and now she's
Now
4
look at
and
her.
she's off to
Getting
school.
ready to school. And Lola's going to be
JK.
like, bye.
Oh yeah, no.
See ya.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Oh, I can't imagine the outfit, too, because you know she's going to decide what she
is
wears.
gonna bring it.
Please
oh yeah.
take a picture.
She does. I will.
Okay,
I'll take lots. She's my little fashionista.
Yes.
She's already picked out her bag and her shoes and her lunch kit.
Don't play
Everything's
with
ready to
Lola.
go.
Don't mess with Lola.
I know.
Her. No, it's so strange. It's like sometimes the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? A little bit of fog out there to start off your morning today. Chance of those scattered showers into your afternoon. And this week, a real mix. We're going to still see some summer days, so don't worry, even though fall is fast approaching. Still some summer weather on the way. 15 degrees for us here this morning, 17 in Montreal, 16 in Cornwall, Brockville, and out in the valley this hour. There is a little humidity. It feels closer to 19 this morning. In our skies, we are dealing with some fog. There's no fog advisory this hour. However, a little bit foggy in those lower lying areas. That will remain for the next few hours before it does dissipate late this morning into your early afternoon. And then today, really a chance of scattered showers from this morning right through until this evening. So there's a 40% chance that we could see some scattered showers kind of here and there throughout the day ahead. Still some sunshine and some breaks from that rain, so not a complete wash. As we head into the overnight, skies will clear, and this is tomorrow. Beautiful, sunny, a gorgeous day in the forecast for us. Nice clear skies. Enjoy, because as we head into Thursday, Friday, we could start to see some scattered showers into the afternoon. So still a couple of wet days this week and a couple of cooler days, but we also have a few hot ones as well. In our wind speeds today, just some light winds coming out of the south, around 20 to 30 kilometers an hour. So not overly windy into the afternoon if you're heading golfing or anything outside. It won't be overly windy. Just could see a little bit of that rain. So 22 degrees is the high for today. We'll still feel closer 27, 28 with that humidity. So we still have some humidity in the forecast. And again, if you're going to be heading out in the backyard, we could see some scattered showers. The good news is at this point, no thunder or lightning in the forecast for us today. 22 for Ottawa, Kemptville, 21 in Brockville, 23 out along the Seaway this afternoon, 22 out in the valley. Temperatures will still feel closer to those high 20s because of the humidity in the forecast. 23 is the high over in Gatineau. So here's a look at what you can expect over the next 7 days. Cold tonight, though, dropping all the way down to 12 degrees into the overnight. If you're doing some camping, make sure you have some warm gear for the overnights. 26 degrees tomorrow. Will feel closer to 30. Beautiful, sunny, hot day in the forecast for us. Staying hot for Thursday with a high of 25. Slightly cooler as we head towards the end of the work weekend and through the weekend. A little bit below seasonal, but at least it'll be nice and sunny on Saturday.
Weather brought to you by Manotick Place Retirement Community, a community you can call home.
Here's a look at your roads this morning. Just seeing light delays right now eastbound on the 417 at the 416 split in through Woodruff. But other than that, no major issues to report.
Traffic brought to you by Presler Injury Lawyers, 1-800-JUSTICE.
6:39, still to come. The Canadian debt hits a record $2.64 trillion as more families fall seriously behind. CTV's Scott Hurst on what's pushing households to the breaking point. That's coming up next. Here's a live look through our sky cams. Cloudy start to your day with a chance of a few showers. We will be right back after this short break. Good morning, Ottawa.
Welcome back, everybody. Here's some of the top stories that we're following today on Your Morning Ottawa. As the trade war between Canada and the U.S. continues to escalate, Ontario Premier Doug Ford had a few choice words to say about U.S. President Donald Trump. Ottawa police are investigating a potential femicide following 2 suspicious deaths over the weekend, and the pride flag is now flying high at Ottawa City Hall. Melissa, we're holding on to summer, especially me, for as long as we can. Give us some good days. Come on.
You and I both. I still have so many clothes that I want to wear, and the weather is not really cooperating. However, it's looking good as we head into tomorrow. Today, a little bit cooler, 22 is the high. We'll still feel closer to 27, 28 with that humidity. Now, there is a chance of scattered showers this morning. That will continue into the afternoon. A beautiful, sunny summer day for you tomorrow, Will. 26 is the high. We'll feel closer to 30 degrees into the afternoon as we head into Thursday, staying warm with a high of 25. On your drive in, still no major issues, just starting to see some slowdowns. If you are heading eastbound on the 417 around the 416 split in through Woodruff, there is a bit of traffic this hour.
According to a TransUnion Credit Industry Insights report, Canadian consumer debt hit a record $2.64 trillion in the second quarter of 2026. The report points out that more Canadians fell seriously behind on payments year over year, with stress concentrated in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Ontario. CTV News correspondent Scott Hurst has more on what's pushing so many households to the breaking point. Scott, good morning morning to you. How are Canadians coping with financial pressures?
Good morning, Rosie. This is a serious concern for so many Canadians dealing with more and more financial stress. As you mentioned, Canadians are carrying a record amount of consumer debt as more of us are being forced to make hard financial decisions just to keep up with our daily bills, just to keep up with our daily expenses. New numbers from consumer credit reporting agency TransUnion are painting a picture of increasing financial stress for many Canadians from coast to coast. Consumer credit debt hit a record $2.64 trillion in the second quarter. Existing borrowers carried larger balances than last year. Total outstanding balances grew by almost 5% from a year earlier. So here's a big number that really reflects the increasing difficulty, Rosie, so many of us are facing. Canadians with non-mortgage debt owed an average of about $28,118. That is up almost 8% from a year earlier. So more that we are owing and more that we are borrowing. And it's not just one category. We're borrowing more for auto loans, up 8%, lines of credit up 7%, personal loans up 7%, and credit cards up 5%. While the report states overall the credit market remained healthy in the second quarter of 2026, Rosie, the data suggests Canadians are experiencing increasing difficulty and difficult financial realities.
Scott, how are financial pressures impacting new mortgages and home buying?
It is really impacting so many aspects of our lives, and as you mentioned, new home buying growth and new mortgages, according to the report, slowed significantly as the price pressures we've been detailing are just adding up and adding up. Affordability challenges, economic uncertainty, and cautious consumer sentiment appear to be dampening some home buying activity despite improving housing market conditions. New mortgage origination increased about 8%, but that is well below the double-digit growth seen in recent quarters. At the same time, new home buyers were borrowing less, and the report suggests that affordability pressures may have pushed some buyers toward lower-priced homes, larger down payments, or more affordable housing markets, Rosie.
Concerning news, no doubt about that. CTV News correspondent Scott Hurst, thanks for this, Scott.
Thanks, Rosie.
And it is time now for the Morning Fix, and the world's most prestigious tango tournament is underway in Argentina. The qualifiers began on the weekend in Buenos Aires. It is the largest tournament of its kind, featuring hundreds of couples from across the globe. The dance and the music originated in the late 1800s and is a region between Argentina and Uruguay. Very cool. The tango is such an iconic dance, right? Like, you know it as soon as you see it. It's so bold. You know, it's so passionate. Look at them. Look at them go.
I feel like you've busted out a tango a couple of times on the D floor, no? What?
I mean, maybe accidentally.
Yeah.
Well, because I feel like you're like this.
Yes,
There's like a really sass to it, too.
And then I can only remember the movies where it was like, I can't remember what it was from, but it was like the guy was doing it, and she's like, I'll lead. And he's like, oh, okay. That's, I guess it's very different. Depending on if you're leading or not.
Sure is.
All right, so maybe something that you would see in a movie like this. A sequel to a beloved rom-com from the 2000s is officially in the works.
Hi, Andy Anderson from Composure Magazine. Our resident how-to girl. I want to write about things that matter. What are you working on now? How to lose a guy in 10 days.
So Variety Magazine is reporting that Paramount is working on a follow-up to 2003's How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. The star, Kate Hudson, is attached to the produce of the product. Development is said to be in the early stages, but the magazine is reporting that both Hudson and co-star Matthew McConaughey will reprise their old roles.
Oh, this makes me so excited. This is one of the most iconic rom-coms I've ever seen. Like, it's an old one, but it's a classic. I could watch it over and over and over again. There's just so many great lines from it, and I just love it. The Yellow Dress.
The Yellow Dress, a classic.
It's so good. The whole movie.
I love rom-coms. Always have, always will. Here's my thought, though. Like, It was so good.
Yeah.
Do we need to dig back in and make it again? Like, you said they're going to reprise their roles. Do we potentially ruin it? Like, how are they going to do that? You're taking a risk.
You are taking a risk. We'll have to wait and see. And such iconic characters they were, in too. It was so good.
The best.
So good. Well, have you ever seen an animal weigh in? Staff at the London Zoo set out to weigh in and monitor several of its animals on Monday. Have a look. Lots of treats involved. So penguins, monkeys, and even squirrels were weighed by staff. Officials say the annual check-in allows for them to monitor each of the animal's health, development, and possible pregnancies. The weigh-in of the animals range from less than a gram to up to 3/4 of a ton. That is so cute.
I'll be honest, at first I thought that it was going to be like a weigh-in for like a fight or like something.
Oh, yeah.
Weight class or something going on. No, just checking for health and pregnancies, making sure that everything's A-okay.
It does remind me of like some sort of fight when they do the weigh-in and they step on the thing. Except these little ones are in tights with a little treat, like get on the scale, we'll give you a fish. Kind of like what you have to do with kids. Get on the scale, we'll give you a candy.
Yeah.
There's a chocolate chip.
Like you said, treats are probably, I can't even imagine to get them all on
Oh,
there.
yeah.
All right, let's take a peek outside, shall we? Through our sky cam on George Street. No penguins or monkeys or squirrels that we can at least see as of right now. Coming up right after the break, we're going to be taking your comments on how do you keep your heart healthy as we jump in for Heart in September. We'll have all the details coming up a little bit later on. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Today on Your Morning Ottawa, we are asking for your comments on how do you stay heart healthy. This is all because of a certain conversation that we'll be having a little bit later on, which we will get to, and we already had someone chime in.
Okay, Lisa says, I like to walk in the mornings. I have a large yard that requires lots of care. Pushing the mower, bending, carrying, pulling weeds, digging holes. There's lots of opportunity to exercise in the flower gardens, the veggie patch, and caring for the lawn. And it all looks pretty when I've finished. I bet it looks beautiful. And you get that natural, like that exercise. You're not even thinking about it, but you're out there moving.
So smart, and I'm sure the yard looks absolutely beautiful.
Thanks, Lise.
And maybe we can give her some more good gardening weather over the next few days.
Tomorrow is a beautiful gardening day, I must say. Nice and sunny and warm. So if you have to mow the lawn, I would say do it tomorrow over today.
Okay, there you go. Always can count on Melissa. Let's keep this chat going, shall we? We are asking you on our show today, how do you stay heart healthy? Let us know Your Morning Ottawa at ctv.ca. We are cruising up to 7 o'clock. Here's what's in store over the next hour. As trade talks collapse, CTV political analyst Eric Ham helps us navigate the fallout and what you need to know. Class, it's almost here. It's almost back in session for some. It is today. We are breaking down the back-to-school safety checklist every parent, student, and driver needs to hear. And we tell you about our conversation for Our Room today, the 30-day challenge to get you moving for women's heart health. Taking a peek outside through our Centennial Glass Skycam, it is foggy out there, so drive carefully. A couple minutes to 7 o'clock, we'll be right back with your news headlines and Melissa's full forecast.
It's Tuesday, August 25th.
This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that.
Strong words from Ontario's premier directed at the U.S. president after Canada walked away from trade negotiations over the weekend.
I will, as mayor, make clear with the federal government that I am opposed to the return to office mandate that they're imposing.
A promise to revert the City of Ottawa's return to office mandate from one mayoral candidate.
And as kids go back to school, we get some very important safety reminders for drivers and pedestrians. Your Morning Ottawa continues right now.
Good morning. How's it going? I'm Rosie Edda.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Will Aiello.
And I'm Melissa Lamb.
In our final headline, we talked about going back to school, and you this year will have a little one heading to their school for the first time.
And some great information that we're going to be talking about, because one thing I do find is people just drive too fast, especially in front of schools. And as a parent, I'm always the one being like, slow down. So some great safety tips coming up for just all of us, regardless if you're driving or maybe you're the one walking, regardless of what it is. It's good to get some reminders and some important information this time of the year.
Yeah, especially with speed cameras not being there this time of year compared to last year, right? So how can you be extra cautious with your children as we're right at that time now?
Looking forward to that conversation. Right now, we're going to get you started on today's top stories. Ontario Premier Doug Ford reacted to U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to increase tariffs on cars and trucks next year.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
Premier Ford not holding back there. The U.S.-Canada trade dispute turned into a war of words between Ford and Trump on Monday after Trump said in a Truth Social post he would increase tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts and steel to 50% on New Year's Day.
This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that. We're going to fight with everything we have. And you know something? I have more courage, more brains in my baby toe than he has in his whole body.
Sources tell CTV the federal government will announce retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. later today. Now, those tariffs are set to come into effect on September 8th. Ottawa police say they are investigating a potential femicide following 2 suspicious deaths over the weekend. Sûreté du Québec first responded to a crash on Highway 50 near Papineauville shortly before 1 a.m. Saturday. A 34-year-old man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Hours later, police discovered the body of a 27-year-old woman inside a home in the city's Lower Town neighborhood. Police identified the deceased as Kessie Fevrier and Kingsley Nwude of Ottawa. The relationship between the two is unknown. Return to office mandates are now driving debate in Ottawa's municipal election race.
I will, as mayor, make clear with the federal government that I am opposed to the return to office mandate that they're imposing.
Mayoral candidate Jeff Leeper is promising to reverse the city's 5-day rule and challenge the federal mandate if elected. He also says he wants more shared federal workspaces in Ottawa suburbs, arguing shorter commutes would save workers time and money while reducing pressure on roads and transit. Incumbent Mayor Mark Sutcliffe calls Leeper's promise counterproductive and performative. As Sutcliffe seeks re-election, he says he will boost funding for rural roads, provide dedicated funding for rural infrastructure priorities, and advance plans to build a ring road while giving rural councillors a louder voice.
They don't want, as a result of amalgamation 25 years ago, to feel like all of the attention is on downtown Ottawa and the suburban communities. They want to feel like they have a say in the decisions that impact their daily lives, just like they used to do before amalgamation.
Sutcliffe is looking to increase funding for rural roads by $50 million. OC Transpo is sharing new details on its financial situation and projected deficit this year. The transit agency is forecasting a $12 million shortfall for 2026. That includes $47 million in funding from the provincial government, which has not yet been announced. The funding would only come through when the province uploads the LRT to Metrolinx, but negotiations are still underway. Staff say the deficit is largely due to lower than anticipated ridership, which was caused by bus reliability issues at the start of the year. WestJet flight attendants have voted to accept a contract deal struck between their union and the company. The union says over 90% of members voted to ratify the agreement. It was reached after months of talks that ultimately forced workers to go on strike earlier this month. Close to 4,400 flight attendants are now expected to get new compensation for work they previously did without pay. The pride flag is now flying high at Ottawa City Hall. It was raised yesterday as the city officially launched Pride Week. Capital Pride celebrations and events are running all week, wrapping up Sunday with the Pride Parade through the downtown core. The winless Red Blacks are making changes, bringing in a longtime CFL executive as senior football advisor. Jim Popp spent 21 seasons with the Montreal Alouettes, and in his 30 years in the league, he's been part of 5 Grey Cups. The Red Blacks say he will advise OSEG CEO Mark Gowdy and work alongside head coach and GM Ryan Dinwiddie. The team fired VP of Football Operations Sean Burke Sunday. The Red Blacks are 0-10 on the season. And finally, a clothing manufacturer in Japan has figured out how to keep your dog cool.
It is very dangerous even for us humans, and for dogs who cannot sweat like us, it's even worse.
So the company called Sweet Mommy has launched a puffy cooling jacket to help pet owners protect their furry friends from heat stroke during the most sweltering days of the year.
The jacket was inspired by the air-conditioned vests worn by Japanese construction workers. Inside the suit, you have 2 battery-powered fans and an ice pack. The outfit has become a hit since its launch in 2022, and the newest version sells for around $100.
I don't think that's that bad of a price for something like that to keep the dogs cool, especially any dogs or fur where they have like the black fur too, because there's a huge difference in how hot those animals can get. So I feel like for $100, making sure that they're nice and cozy and safe, well worth it.
Nice and cool. It's a great idea.
Love that.
We do have your weather picture of the day today, and this was sent to us from Donna. Look at this. It's August at the cottage in Lac Bernard, Quebec, untouched and spectacular.
Weather picture brought to you by Box Me Up. Moving, staging, renovating, just box me up.
And please continue to send your pictures in to us. We love the summer pictures. I don't want to see the fall leaves just yet. Weathershots@ctv.ca is the email address that you can reach us. Again, weathershots@ctv.ca. And in our forecast today, we're going to see a beautiful day ahead, but we could see some spotty showers. A little bit of fog this morning, and temperatures just a little bit below seasonal. Normals around 24 degrees. Will be at 22 into the afternoon. The sun setting at 7:52 p.m. Temperatures this morning slightly warmer than yesterday at this time. We are sitting at 15 degrees this hour. A little bit cloudy out there and a little bit foggy as well. 16 in Brockville, Cornwall, 17 over in Montreal. There is humidity in the forecast. Feels closer to 19 this hour. 20 in the valley. It already feels like 22 over in Montreal. So still dealing with some fog this morning, especially in the lower lying areas. So a bit of a foggy start to your day as well as cloud coverage as well. So cloudy skies this morning and a chance of scattered showers this morning right through until your evening. So we could see some spotty showers today, kind of off and on throughout the day ahead. Still a little bit of sunshine as well, even though we will see mainly cloudy conditions. Now overnight it will clear up into your day tomorrow. A beautiful sunny dry day in the forecast. It will feel like summer as we headed to Wednesday. So still some beautiful summer weather days left. As we head into Thursday, Friday, it will stay warm, but we could see some more spotty showers return towards the end of the work week. But then as we head into the weekend, again, a nice sunny day for Saturday. So golfing forecast for today. Not a bad day out on the links. At least we're not going to see any thunder and lightning today, even though you could get some wet weather, some sprinkles with a little bit of a scattered shower off and on throughout the afternoon. Temperatures sitting at 21 degrees by 3 p.m. We'll reach our daytime high of 22 sometime around 4 p.m. So we will reach it later on into the afternoon. We'll still feel closer to 27, 28 this afternoon because there will be humidity in the forecast. 23 in Cornwall, 22 in Kemptville, Ottawa, as well as out in the valley into your afternoon. 23 is your high in Gatineau as well as over in Montreal. So over the next week, temperatures really all over the place. Temperatures a little bit warmer, a little bit cooler some days. Overnight tonight, quite cool, dropping down to 12 degrees. 26 for tomorrow. The summer will return. A high, it will feel closer to 30 into the afternoon. Lots of sunshine. 16 is the overnight low, staying warm on Thursday with a high of 25. As we head into Friday and Saturday, highs of 23 degrees. A little bit of scattered showers on Friday, but sunny as we head into Saturday.
7-day weather forecast brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business.
And we do have a collision this morning, Maryville at Fowlefield. It is impacting traffic in both directions. We are also seeing delays eastbound on the 417 between Carling and Rochester.
Thanks, Melissa. Well, with the collapse of Canada-U.S. trade talks, Ottawa announced retaliatory tariffs, and President Trump immediately escalated, threatening a devastating 50% tariff on Canadian autos and steel by New Year's Day. Joining us now is CTV News political analyst Eric Ham. Good morning to you, Eric.
Good morning.
So the first question I want to ask you is, from your perspective and all the conversations with the U.S. that you've had on the other side of the border, what exactly did Canada miss out on? Because the United States is saying that we really missed out on a wonderful deal.
Well, yeah, that's what we're hearing from the United States. But again, this is basically both sides making sure to inform their respective constituencies about the narrative and also what actually took place. We know that at the 11th hour, we're learning more that it was Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, that came in and actually wanted larger tariffs, particularly on aluminum and steel. And that was one of the bridges that actually broke these negotiations. But now what we're seeing is this is becoming an increasingly war of words between both sides. And President Donald Trump saying that Canada wants the benefits of being a state without actually being a state. And of course, we know President Donald Trump has had ambitions of making Canada a state since coming back into office. But what we're seeing now and hearing from the Prime Minister is that Canada is moving away from the United States. What this means in terms of the relationship of CUSMA going forward, it's anyone's guess. But right now, the level of bad blood between both sides is becoming increasingly worse. And it's unclear, actually, if, in fact, they will get back to the table. What we do know, however, is the U.S. Business Council, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, farmers are all pushing and hoping that the administration does get back to talks, recognizing that a trade war does neither side any good.
When you think about the January 1st deadline with those 50% tariffs coming in, what would Canada need to compromise in order for that not to happen? U.S. President Donald Trump has talked about how we're attacking their dairy and we're taking the alcohol away from the shelves. Are those some of the items that you think would have benefit to adding towards maybe a deal coming to place by January?
Well, those were actually on the table during these initial rounds of talks. But what we also know is that the United States also wanted the right of first refusal on Canada's ability to negotiate trade deals with other countries. We heard from the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, that they are now looking and beginning negotiations with the European Union on not just a trade deal, but also on defense procurement. So it looks as though right now, Canada is moving away from the United States, which suggests that any talks now will be very different going forward than they were just a few days ago.
And, you know, the Ontario Premier had some, we'll call it, interesting words with the U.S. President Donald Trump. I want to play that for you right now.
This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that. We're going to fight with everything we have.
Okay, so when you hear words like that, especially when you're dealing with U.S. President Donald Trump, do you think that this will help with negotiations, or where do you see this playing out?
No, not at all. In fact, we know this is the type of engagement, this is the type of language that President Donald Trump relishes. But also, too, we have heard from Premier Ford that he is prepared to either raise the tariffs on electricity or even cut that from a number of key states that actually receive it. And we also are hearing from lawmakers, both Democrat and Republican, that are pushing back on this failed negotiation by the White House, saying that they need to actually get back to the negotiating table. We got to remember, Canada has a tremendous impact on 4 states that could shift the balance of power here in Washington in November. And Republicans are looking to that and hoping that President Donald Trump actually gives in and makes a deal with Canada sooner rather than later.
If you think about just the few minutes that we've talked already, there's so much to cover when it comes to insults, with the deal being on the table and then taken back off. Over the next few days, over the next week, what do you think is going to occur in the days leading up?
I don't suspect that we will see either side come back to the negotiating table. In fact, right now, because it's still the August recess, lawmakers are away meeting with their respective constituents. President Donald Trump is looking at other issues, of course, trying to end the war in Iran and also trying to ensure that his base stays with him. These tariffs are going to wreak more havoc, not just on the business community, but also on consumers' pocketbooks. So that's going to be an issue. His approval ratings are falling precipitously low right now. In fact, the approval rating of Canada is much higher than that of the White House. So President Donald Trump has a lot of issues, but even with all of that, he's still trying to project a strong image to the American people.
And Eric, I want to ask you, because on that side of the border, are you hearing from local businesses and farmers and people over there that are opposed to these tariffs?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, spoke to one just yesterday, voted for President Donald Trump 3 times and said that this is not what he expected from this administration and that this could actually put their farm out of business. And to say nothing of the fact in terms of what we're seeing from cattle ranchers right now who are also struggling. And there's an additional $11 billion that in giveaways that the administration is now preparing for many of those farmers as a result of what we're seeing play out with not just a trade war with Canada, but with other nations as well.
And, finally, before we let you go, I just want to ask you, should Canadian businesses be concerned with the impact of these tariffs? And, of course, with our retaliatory tariffs potentially happening on September 8th, how should Canadian businesses feel right now?
Oh, not just Canadian businesses, but the region should be deeply worried about what's taking place. Of course, businesses thrive when there is calmness and there is a level of saneness taking place. And right now, we're just not seeing that from this administration. One day tariffs on, one day they're off 50%. No one knows what's next going to happen. And so this is making it very difficult for businesses to plan and execute.
As you mentioned, one day you hear one thing, even the afternoon, everything starts to change. CTV News political analyst Eric Ham joining us this morning. Thank you so much for your time.
You bet. Thank you.
And still ahead right here on Your Morning Ottawa, back to school is now just around the corner. But that also means busier roads, crosswalks, and those school zones. So coming up, we'll be talking about the importance of safety and some reminders for all the parents, students, and drivers. Just to let you know, our guests are nice and cozy in the Your Morning Ottawa Lazy Boy Lounge. We'll have that conversation coming up very shortly. We'll take a peek outside through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Still foggy out there. Will it dissipate shortly? Melissa will let us know in the full forecast. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, it's Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford. Employee pricing on now.
What makes your community special? Join us next week for Your Neighborhood, showcasing the people and places that make the National Capital Region shine.
Your Neighborhood on CTV Your Morning Ottawa. Brought to you in part by the Clemo. Choose the Clemo and start living your life your way.
It's 7:20. Welcome back. Here are the big stories happening today on Your Morning Ottawa. As the trade war between Canada and the U.S. continues to escalate, Ontario Premier Doug Ford had a few choice words to say about Donald Trump. Ottawa police are investigating a potential femicide following 2 suspicious deaths over the weekend. And the pride flag is now flying high at Ottawa City Hall. Now we're going to take a peek at the forecast with Melissa.
Bit of a foggy start to your morning. We're still dealing with a bit of fog out there, especially in the lower lying areas. That will dissipate within the next few hours. Into your afternoon, a cloudier day, still some sunny breaks here and there, but there is a chance of scattered showers this morning right through into your evening. 22 is the high for today. We'll feel closer to 27, 28 with that heat and humidity as we head into the overnight. Everything will clear up and we have a beautiful hot summer day tomorrow. On your roads this morning, we do have a couple of trouble spots so far on your roads this hour. There is a collision westbound on the 174 at the 417. We also have one Maryville and Fallowfield that has been clear, but still a few slowdowns in that area. Delays right now eastbound on the 417 between Carling and Rochester.
Thanks, Melissa. With students soon heading back to class, school zones are about to get a lot busier. Ottawa Safety Council CEO Jason Wilson joins us with some important safety reminders for both drivers, students, as well as parents. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Pleasure to be here. Very excited.
It's so great, especially given the, so the French schools are already back today, and then we're going to be going back really shortly. Can you just remind us a little bit about what the council is in charge of?
Yes, the Ottawa Safety Council is a not-for-profit dedicated to road safety, safety education, training, and road services. We have over 450 guards here in Ottawa, 700 in Ontario, and we actually facilitate over 8 million crossings a year here in Ottawa alone.
Wow, it's really important, especially this time of year. We hear some really terrible accidents and people driving through their school zones. When you think about the school year heading up to right now, what should drivers know about these school zones as we head into the brand new year?
Yeah, back to school, right? September, everybody's excited. Thousands of kids back on the roads, cycling, walking, new modes of transportation, scooters. So the main thing is really to keep in mind to slow down. Speed is really, really important this time of year. There's new routines. Kids will do unexpected things, right? And they're excited about going back to school. Drivers can slow down. Another thing to remember as a safety tip is watch out for our crossing guards. Will, you're demonstrating the crossing guard vest in bright yellow, high visibility vest, and our crossing guards are just amazing people. They're on intersections to keep people safe. When you see them with a stop paddle in an intersection, please stop, allow them to cross, the children to cross the street, and please ensure the crossing guard has crossed before you proceed.
Yeah, a really important message. And you talked about the kids wanting to run around and do a whole bunch of things. I mean, I can remember a kid, following direction is tough. What should parents be teaching their kids before they head to school to make sure that they're in the best possible safe position?
Yeah, going back to school, there's so much to think about, right? Lunch bags, school supplies, new friends, and there's so much on parents' minds and kids' minds. One thing that they often forget is planning the route to school, which is one of the best things that you can do with your child. Plan the route to the school, help them understand the designated crossings, and even walk that route with your children. Stop, look, and listen at every intersection, and that's one of the greatest things you can do. We have a lot of great resources on our website, ottawasafetycouncil.ca. We have a Road Smarts for Kids programs, and we have all of the intersections on an interactive map where the crossing guards are.
And when you think about, obviously the busy times, pickup, drop off, what should we know about those times, especially as we cruise right into the season?
Yeah, build in a little bit more time into your schedule, right? There's more cars on the road, and really have patience. We see a lot of impatience at this time of year, but it's just because there's so much going on. So take your time, take a beat, plan extra time into your schedule during drop-offs and pickups.
When you think about this time of year, if you were to pass along one message to drivers, even if you're not dropping off your kids or if you're just a driver in the area through these school zones, what would be a really important message that you want to drive home this year?
Well, we talked about it from the start, and it's really slow down. If you slow down, you can see things that maybe be unexpected. If you slow down, you can react. And if you slow down, it dramatically decreases any impact if you happen to get in a collision. Look, Will, I'm a father of 8 kids, so I really understand the hustle and bustle and getting to school, work, a million distractions going on. But I've been at Ottawa Safety Council for a week, and if there's one thing I learned in this last week, talking to 36 crossing guards, they're really unsung heroes in our community. They're out there in cold, all kinds of weather conditions. But it's a partnership. All of us as drivers work with them to keep our communities safe. So let's keep everyone safe and bring everyone home safely.
Sutton and Portsmouth, did you say 8 kids?
8 children, yes.
Oh,
yes.
my goodness. Okay, so you've seen it all at this point.
I've seen it all, maybe, yes.
All right, definitely hear him from the man himself. Jason, really appreciate your time, especially as we get right up to the start of the school year.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate it.
Making sure everyone's staying safe. And Melissa, no problem because you can always see me.
I sure can, Will. Well, coming up here on Your Morning Ottawa, pandemic-era mortgages will be up for renewal in the coming months, and we're learning what that means and how many people are impacted and what their concerns are if the rates will go up. Frank Napolitano is standing by in the Your Morning Ottawa Lazy Boy Lounge. Mortgage Minute is up next. Days could change your heart health and your future. This September, jump in for Women's Heart Health and join us for our first ever heart-to-heart walk on September 29th. Every step helps fund life-saving research and care at the Canadian Women's Heart Health Centre, powered by the Ottawa Heart Institute. Register today at jumpinnow.ca and receive your official Jump In socks.
Good morning. It's 7 7:30. Come on in. Hope your morning is going well. I'm Rosie Edda.
That means it is the official halfway mark of the show. I'm Will Aiello.
Happy Tuesday, everyone, and I am Melissa Lamb.
And coming up very shortly, we got Frank Napolitano from Mortgage Brokers Ottawa in the house, and we're talking about post-pandemic, pre-pandemic mortgages and what you need to know.
That's right. If you're up for renewal this year, what you need to know in terms of rates, are you going to pay more, what you should do. So we're going to have that great conversation coming up.
How to prepare for the
That's right.
change. Okay, let's take a look right now at today's top stories. Ontario Premier Doug Ford reacted to U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to increase tariffs on cars and trucks next year.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
Premier Ford not holding back there. The U.S.-Canada trade dispute turned into a war of words between Ford and Trump on Monday after Trump said in a Truth Social post he would increase tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts, and steel to 50% on New Year's Day.
This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that. We're going to fight with everything we have. And you know something? I have more courage, more brains in my baby toe than he has in his whole body.
Sources tell CTV the federal government will announce retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. later today, which are set to come into effect on September 8th. And just minutes ago, U.S. President Donald Trump posted to social media suggesting a name change to one of the Great Lakes. It read, "The United States is giving serious consideration to changing the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America, in that we don't expect doing much business with Ontario any longer." In other news, Ottawa police say they are investigating a potential femicide following two suspicious deaths over the weekend. Sûreté du Québec first responded to a crash on Highway 50 near Papineauville shortly before 1 a.m. Saturday. A 34-year-old man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Hours later, police discovered the body of a 27-year-old woman inside a home in the city's Lower Town neighborhood. Police identified the deceased as Kessie Fevrier and Kingsley Nwude of Ottawa. The relationship between the two is unknown. Return to office mandates are now driving debate in Ottawa's municipal election race.
I will, as mayor, make clear with the federal government that I am opposed to the return to office mandate that they're imposing.
Mayoral candidate Jeff Leeper is promising to reverse the city's 5-day rule and challenge the federal mandate if elected. He also says he wants more shared federal workspaces in Ottawa suburbs, arguing shorter commutes would save workers time and money while reducing pressure on roads and transit. Incumbent Mayor Mark Sutcliffe calls Leeper's promise counterproductive and performative. As Sutcliffe seeks re-election, he says he will boost funding for rural roads, provide dedicated funding for rural infrastructure and priorities, and advance plans to build a ring road while giving rural councillors a louder voice.
They don't want, as a result of amalgamation 25 years ago, to feel like all of the attention is on downtown Ottawa and the suburban communities. They want to feel like they have a say in the decisions that impact their daily lives, just like they used to do before amalgamation.
Sutcliffe is looking to increase funding for rural roads by $50 million. OC Transpo is sharing new details on its financial situation and projected deficit this year. The transit agency is forecasting a $12 million shortfall for 2026. That includes $47 million in funding from the provincial government, which has not yet been announced. The funding would only come through when the province uploads the LRT to Metrolinx, but negotiations are still underway. Staff say the deficit is largely due to lower than anticipated ridership, which was caused by bus reliability issues at the start of the year. A grounds crew worker was seriously hurt after being hit by a plane at Montreal's Trudeau Airport. This happened at around 7:30 last night. Emergency services were called after a person was hit by an airplane backing up on the tarmac. Crews were seen surrounding a plane from the carrier French B. Reports say passengers were taken off the plane at around 11:30 p.m. Montreal police say the incident will likely be investigated as a workplace accident. WestJet flight attendants have voted to accept a contract deal struck between their union and the company. The union says over 90% of members voted to ratify the agreement. It was reached after months of talks that ultimately forced workers to go on strike earlier this month. Close to 4,400 flight attendants are now expected to get new compensation for work they previously did without pay. The winless Red Blacks are making changes, bringing in a longtime CFL executive as senior football advisor. Jim Popp spent 21 seasons with the Montreal Alouettes, and in his 30 years in the league, he's been part of 5 Grey Cups. The Red Blacks say he will advise OSEG CEO Mark Gowdy and work alongside head coach and GM Ryan Dinwiddie. The Red Blacks fired VP of Football Operations Sean Burke Sunday. The Red Blacks are 0-10 on the season. And finally, monarch butterflies are thriving this year, and many are taking notice.
We know that when monarchs are at fairly good numbers in the summer, they start showing up in places where you are in the western provinces.
Monarch butterflies are an endangered species in Canada and not common on the prairies, but this year, the ecologist is seeing more than usual in Saskatoon, a sign that could be in the midst of a butterfly boom. Experts say that it's common for insect populations to fluctuate. Favorable weather conditions likely contributed to this year's numbers.
Beautiful stuff. And I always stop. Sorry to cut you off. I always stop when I see a butterfly. I go, oh, there's a butterfly. It doesn't happen that often.
No, and they're always so beautiful. And like the butterfly conservatories that I've been, you always just get lost because like the colors, like the kind. And if you can't do it, then they go and they just float in your hand. So Saskatoon getting a little uptick in the numbers.
Very nice indeed. Wondering if we're going to see some butterflies today as far as the weather is concerned.
I think we could, depending on if that rainfall could maybe hold off a little bit, Melissa.
Absolutely, and we're going to be a little bit foggy this morning, so we are dealing with some fog still to start things off, and a little bit cloudier today, but don't worry, we will get to still see some sunshine into the afternoon. So a chance of scattered showers today and this week, really a mix, but tomorrow's a beautiful day. If you want to go for a walk or anything outdoors, I highly suggest doing it tomorrow. 15 degrees still here in the city, 17 along Montreal, 16 for Kingston, Brockville area. Does feel closer to 19, so there is a little bit of humidity in the forecast still this morning. 20 out in the valley as well as in Cornwall. Feels like 22 for Trent and Montreal. So still dealing with a little bit of that fog. It will be a bit of a cloudier day, and there is a chance of these scattered showers you could see, especially this afternoon. We could see some pop-up showers in the forecast today. That will continue this evening, but overnight clearing up tomorrow. Look at how sunny it will be, bright and sunny, hardly anything to see in our skies. As we head into Thursday, yes, more rain on the way for Thursday and through Friday, but the weekend is looking nice and clear as we head into Saturday. So if you're doing a little bit of camping in the forecast for today, we are expecting a high of 22 degrees. Could see some scattered showers overnight, falling down to 12. So bit of a wetter day today and cooler overnight, especially if you are doing any camping. 22 for us in the city today. We'll feel closer to 27, 28 with that heat and humidity. 22 as well out in the valley, Bancroft, Kemptville, 23 for Cornwall. So temps in the lower 20s in through your afternoon and throughout the region for today. Over the next couple of days, 12 is the overnight low, so quite cool overnight tonight, but then after that, it won't be as bad until Friday. 26 tomorrow, beautiful sunny day. We'll feel closer to 30, so summer still very much alive. As we head into Thursday, could see those spotty showers Thursday, Friday, but then Saturday, another beautiful day, sunny with a high of 23. Collisions right now, westbound on the 174th to 417. That has now been clear, but traffic is still a little bit heavy in that area. The collision westbound on the 417 at Nicholas is still there. Delays eastbound on the 417 between Carling and Rochester. Riverside and Bank Street also seeing delays due to construction.
Traffic brought to you by Presler Injury Lawyers. 1-800-JUSTICE.
Well, a wave of pandemic-era mortgages are up for renewal this year, and we're learning more about how impacted homeowners are feeling. A survey from Royal LePage found 38% of borrowers say they expect their payments will increase, and 35% say they are feeling anxious about renewal. So Frank Napolitano is here from Mortgage Brokers Auto to break it all down.
Good morning.
Okay, let's talk more about these numbers and what we're hearing from clients.
Well, we're at the tail end, 25 and 26, 2025, 26. Obviously, with the pandemic being in 2021, we saw real estate prices soar, and Canadians jump into home ownership or or buy even bigger homes, and therefore they had bigger mortgages or the first-time mortgages at ultra low interest rates. And over the last 18 months or so, what we've seen is a lot of people calling us, and anxious is a good word. I would say the number is probably correct. About 35% of them are really anxious because they're just barely making ends meet, and they feel they haven't done anything wrong. Dual income, doing everything properly, but still not a lot going into savings accounts or for those emergencies. So now on top of that, now you start adding payments going up $300, $400, $500 a month. Scales back a little bit more what they can do, and therefore they're worried. So I certainly, and I think we're going to see it 2027. I'm more worried about 2027 because at least people that bought in 20 and 21 have some additional equity in their home because we saw prices go up. It's in 2027 that I'm a little more worried because that's when we hit the peak of real estate prices, and therefore those people that put mortgages on at that time don't have the equity to be able to tap into.
And is everything we're hearing about, trades and tariff, is that impacting rates at all, or is that impacting some people being a little bit extra nervous or anxious?
Well, I think people are nervous and anxious because some people feel they may not have a job, so I think that's one of the things that concerns them. And obviously inflation could be a problem with tariffs, and they're inflationary by nature. So therefore, if we start to see interest rates going up, the uncertainty. So Bank of Canada is kind of in a tug of war because on one hand, they got to keep inflation under control. On the other hand, they want to make sure that unemployment stays down, and if the tariffs hit like a lot of people say they will, and we lose thousands of jobs, then all of a sudden that's the tug of war that the Bank of Canada is going to struggle with.
And is it not just the worry that their mortgage might be going up, it's the fact that everything else is going up at the same time?
Well, that's what's hurt a lot of people over the last 5 years is the fact that, if you've had a low interest rate mortgage and you've had a great mortgage payment, that's great, but what they've seen is all their other costs go up, and that's why they're not able to set as much money aside as they want to, and even pull, I've had some couples say that they're pulling their kids out of hockey or pulling their kids out of some of the events. They just can't afford it anymore. So, I think for a lot of people, if you have your mortgage coming up for renewal, your bank will give you some options. Maybe get a second opinion. Talk to a mortgage broker. Talk to another bank, but get some different options and try to put your whole financial assets and your liabilities together and talk to somebody who can give you some advice on how to structure it properly so that you could get further ahead and not find yourself in a position where, if you lost your job, you wouldn't be able to do some of the things that you're normally doing.
And are there some options that people can do to kind of keep those mortgage payments relatively lower without being increased too much?
Yeah, if you've got equity in the home, and I think, again, a lot of people that matured in 25 and 26 have got some equity in their homes, so therefore you can increase your amortization back up to 30 years. And I always say, and some people say, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going back up to 30 years. But it's not forever. 30 years is just basically what it does, it sets up what your payments are moving forward.
Right.
Doesn't mean you might be at the stage of your life where you're paying for daycare or you've got other costs that maybe 3, 4, 5 years from now won't be there. And then at that point, you can increase your payments to bring that amortization back down. So always set up your mortgage payments based on where you're at in your life right now, because that could change 2, 3, 4 years from now.
Thank you so much for joining us
Always
today.
a pleasure.
Again, you can find Frank at mortgagebrokersottawa.com. Lots more to come here on the show. Let's throw it over to Rosie.
Thank you, Melissa. Coming up, 30 minutes for 30 days. How the Jump In Challenge is helping promote women's heart health. Why don't we take a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam? Ooh, a misty start to your day. Keep the umbrella handy. Melissa saying we have a chance of a few showers. 7:44. We'll be right back after this. Heart disease is the leading cause of premature death for women in Canada, and a local initiative is helping people take action. Jump In for Women's Heart Health returns this September with a 30-day movement challenge. And joining us to tell us more are Lindsay Firestone and Dr. Carrie-Ann Mullen from the University of Ottawa Heart Institute. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so let's talk about the initiative. Okay, Jump In for Women's Heart Health. What's happening this September?
Okay, we're encouraging the community to get active for 30 minutes a day for the month of September. So 30 minutes for 30 days. People will get moving in any way they choose. So any movement counts, it doesn't matter. Collectively, we're trying to walk across Canada. So we're trying to accumulate the kilometers to walk across Canada. And we've got tons of initiatives happening. The big thing this year is we have a heart-to-heart walk on September 29th at the RA Center. So that'll kind of be the end of the campaign, with a fireside chat. So we're debunking the myths that are out there on socials that people are seeing, and we're inviting everybody to the RA Center to have a morning of learning from our heart experts at the Institute, and getting out to do their 30 minutes after that.
It's so important to debunk those myths because a lot of studies were done mainly on men. So now we've got more detailed information on women's heart health, right?
That's right, and there's a lot out there.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but my feed is full. And sometimes I don't know what's what.
True.
So if people like Carrie and a couple of other people from the Institute and the Canadian Women's Heart Health Centre who can help us really know what's out there, what we should and shouldn't be doing. So,
okay, I'm really looking forward to this September.
Yeah,
I mean, I
great.
love it that it's 30 days of movement for 30 minutes a day. You don't have to be in the gym sweating away for hours on end to improve your heart health.
That's right.
Even the walk
so
is
this year we
fantastic.
have lots of walking groups, not necessarily in the gym lifting, crazy weights. Lots of great initiatives happening, walking groups throughout the city, Pilates, introductory classes, so free, something that everybody can take part in. And this year everybody gets our socks. These are our new socks. So that's another part of it this year.
That is
we'll hope
fun.
people enjoy those.
Thank you for that, Lindsay. Okay, Dr. Mullen, why don't we talk about, you're going to do a little true and false Q&A with me.
Yes.
I'm going to see how we do.
I think you're already an expert.
Okay.
All right. The first true false question.
Yes.
Heart disease is mainly a men's health problem.
False.
False. You're right. You already touched on this. The good news for women is that heart disease does tend to occur later in life than men. But the reality is that heart disease affects women just as much as men. And some women have risk factors throughout their lifespan that can put them at increased risk of developing heart disease, and that's a lot of the work we do at the Ottawa Heart Institute to support the research and care.
Busting that myth, number one. Next question.
Okay, you need to exercise for at least 30 minutes at a time for it to count.
At least 30 minutes at a time for it to count. You need to do that. I'm not sure about the phrasing of the question, so I am going to say any bit of exercise is good for you.
You're a pro.
Yes!
She's got it.
Okay.
So yes, 30 minutes a day in September at least, but you can break it up throughout the day. That's really important.
That is great. Next question.
Okay, next question is, in terms of high blood pressure and high cholesterol, it usually causes symptoms that you can feel.
High blood pressure and high
cholesterol.
I think that's false.
Okay. She's such a pro.
Really?
So you're right. It's really important. We also say know your numbers.
Yes.
Get your blood work done regularly so that, and your blood pressure, because these are heart risk factors that you can't feel, and it's important to get checked every few years to make sure that our cholesterol is on target, as is our blood pressure.
Okay, Dr. Millen, this is so important. I think we can sneak in one more.
One more?
All right, one quick one.
Walking is good enough to improve your heart health.
Ding, 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 ding. True,
That's
right?
True. Exactly.
Yes.
So walking is a great way. Again, you can sprinkle it in throughout your day, but it's also really important to, a few times a week, to remember about strength training and some other sort of more intense.
Yes,
but
yes.
walking is a great activity.
Oh, Lindsay, Dr. Mullen, that was great to get that information and to know that Women's Heart Health Month is starting up in September.
You got it.
And all those wonderful activities that are going to be happening in that month. We're looking forward to it. How can folks get in touch and find out more?
They can register at jumpinnow.ca. Registration's open. We're excited. Lots and lots of people registered already. We'll get our socks out to you right away. And we're really encouraging everybody to get active for 30 minutes a day.
So important. Thank you both so much. Melissa, over to you.
And coming up, back to school often means a new array of sicknesses impacting your little ones. Pharmacist and author Sherry Turkis gives us a back-to-school health checklist to keep for you and your family healthy this fall. Here are your milestone celebrations for today, Tuesday, August 25th. We're going to start off with a happy 10th birthday to Hattie. Wishing you the best birthday and year ahead in grade 5. This is with love from Nancy, Gates, and your whole family. And we have a very special birthday. This is a happy 3rd birthday to Jet. This is with love from your mummy, daddy, Gam, Grampy, Nana, Papa, Cola, Millie, and your whole family here at Daddy's Work. A very special happy birthday from all of us here to you, Jet, or we like to call him Jetty. Go, buddy. And of course, if you have a milestone, please celebrate it with us. And your birthday announcements for kids turning 13 years old and younger, and for those turning 100 years or more. Wedding anniversaries as well, those celebrating 50 years or more. All you have to do, send us an email, ottawa.milestones@ctv.ca, and we'll be sure to get your announcement on the air.
It's Tuesday, August 25th.
This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that.
Strong words from Ontario's premier directed at U.S. President after Canada walked away from trade negotiations over the weekend.
I will, as mayor, make clear with the federal government that I am opposed to the return to office mandate that they're imposing.
A promise to revert the City of Ottawa's return to office mandate from one mayoral candidate.
And beat the back-to-school bugs. We give you a health checklist for the new school year. Your Morning Ottawa continues right now.
Good morning. Just after 8 o'clock, come on in. I'm Rosie Edda.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Will Aiello.
And I'm Melissa Lamb.
And throughout the show today, we've been talking about school safety a little bit earlier. Now we're going to be talking about school safety and the health standpoint. Sherry Torkos always has the best information with that.
It's true. You know, people go back to school and then all of a sudden you start getting germs and bugs and all the little things. So we have some great items that you could have in your pantry. So if you do start to get sick, we have some options for you.
Because you know it takes down the family, and then it takes down the family's friends, and it just keeps going and going
It goes
and going.
from me, and I'm like, stay away. I think I got something from my kids.
Yeah, then it comes to us too, so we'll have some great info about maybe how to prevent some of that.
Absolutely.
And now we're going to get you started on today's top stories. Ontario Premier Doug Ford reacted to U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to increase tariffs on cars and trucks next year.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
Yeah, Premier Ford is not holding back there. The U.S.-Canada trade dispute turned into a war of words between Ford and Trump on Monday after Trump said in a Truth Social post he would increase tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts, and steel to 50% on New Year's Day.
This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that. We're going to fight with everything we have. And you know something? I have more courage, more brains in my baby toe than he has in his whole body.
Sources tell CTV the federal government will announce retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. later today. The tariffs are set to come into effect on September 8th. And just minutes ago, U.S. President Donald Trump posted to social media suggesting a name change to one of the Great Lakes. The post read, "The United States is giving serious consideration to changing the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America, in that we don't expect doing much business with Ontario any longer." Ottawa police are saying they are investigating a potential femicide following 2 suspicious deaths over the weekend. Sûreté du Québec first responded to a crash on Highway 50 near Papineauville shortly before 1 a.m. Saturday. A 34-year-old man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Hours later, police discovered the body of a 27-year-old woman inside a home in the city's Lower Town neighborhood. Police identified the deceased as Kessie Fevrier and Kingsley Nwude of Ottawa. The relationship between the two is unknown. Return to office mandates are now driving debate in Ottawa's municipal election race.
I will, as mayor, make clear with the federal government that I am opposed to the return to office mandate that they're imposing.
Mayoral candidate Jeff Leeper is promising to reverse the city's 5-day rule and challenge the federal mandate if elected. He also says he wants more shared federal workspaces in Ottawa suburbs, arguing shorter commutes would save workers time and money while reducing pressure on roads and transit. Incumbent Mayor Mark Sutcliffe calls Leeper's promise counterproductive and performative. As Sutcliffe seeks re-election, he says he will boost funding for rural roads, provide dedicated funding for rural infrastructure priorities, and advance plans to build a ring road while giving rural councillors a louder voice.
They don't want, as a result of amalgamation 25 years ago, to feel like all of the attention is on downtown Ottawa and the suburban communities. They want to feel like they have a say in the decisions that impact their daily lives, just like they used to do before amalgamation.
Sutcliffe is looking to increase funding for rural roads by $50 million. OC Transpo is sharing new details on its financial situation and projected deficit this year. The transit agency is forecasting a $12 million shortfall for 2026. That includes $47 million in funding from the provincial government, which has not yet been announced. The funding would only come through when the province uploads the LRT to Metrolinx, but negotiations are still underway. Staff say the deficit is largely due to lower than anticipated ridership, which was caused by bus reliability issues at the start of the year. A grounds crew worker was seriously hurt after being hit by a plane at Montreal's Trudeau Airport. This happened at around 7:30 last night. Emergency services were called after a person was hit by an airplane backing up on the tarmac. Crews were seen surrounding a plane from the airline French Bee. Reports say passengers were taken off the plane at around 11:30 p.m. Montreal police say the incident will likely be investigated as a workplace accident. The winless Red Blacks are making changes, bringing in a longtime CFL executive as senior football advisor. Jim Popp spent 21 seasons with the Montreal Alouettes, and in his 30 years in the league, he's been part of 5 Grey Cups. The Red Blacks say he will advise OSEG CEO Mark Gowdy and work alongside head coach and GM Ryan Dinwiddie. The Red Blacks fired VP of Football Operations Sean Burke Sunday. The Red Blacks are 0-10 on the season. And finally, the world's most prestigious tango tournament is underway in Argentina.
And no, none of us qualified. The qualifiers kicked off this weekend in Buenos Aires. It is the largest tournament of its kind in the whole world.
Including hundreds of couples from countries all over the world, including right here in Canada.
A very impressive tournament to come. Imagine being the tango champion of the world. That's just so cool. Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah. You know, tango, it's all about the face, too,
oh,
right? You gotta have that attitude and
a lot of swagger that goes along with it, yes.
Sure does.
All right, on the weather front.
Tango over to the forecast?
Yeah, what do you got? Give us your best.
Well, I'm leading with the wrong.
There you go.
Wow, changing levels, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
wow, changing levels. There it is.
Okay,
oh!
A little turn.
You gotta have the face, a shimmy. I don't know if that qualifies for tango. It might need to improve with a few lessons. Definitely have the tango hair now, though. It's like all tousled from the wind. Our forecast today, a good one to get outside. It won't be overly hot into the afternoon. We could see some scattered showers for today, sunsetting tonight at 7:52 p.m. Temps right now this morning still sitting at 15 degrees, so we haven't moved temperature-wise. 17 in Montreal, Cornwall, 16 out in the valley. Does feel closer to 19 this morning, so we haven't really moved temperature-wise. A little bit warmer out in Trenton, Brockville area, feeling closer to 22 this hour. In our skies, we are still seeing a little bit of fog. It should dissipate within the next hour, and then we will get to see a mix of sun and cloud throughout most of the day, cloudier into the afternoon, and then there is a chance that we could see some scattered showers today, especially later on this afternoon. So 40% chance of seeing some scattered showers kind of off and on this morning, right through into your evening. Everything clearing up tonight. Beautiful, sunny tomorrow. Lots of sunshine on the way for us. A hot day as well for Wednesday. Then as we head into Thursday, Friday, we could see a few more scattered showers. So a little bit of wet weather towards the end of the work week, but the weekend will also start off nice and sunny. So if you are heading to a backyard pool today, tomorrow's the better day for it, but sometimes you will go outside today as well. 22 degrees again. Chance of those scattered showers into the afternoon. So we could see a little bit of wet weather, but it will still feel quite warm, feeling closer to 27, 28 today with that heat and humidity. Similar temps across the region, 22 for Cornwall, Kemptville, and out in the valley today. Same within Bancroft, Petawawa, 23 in Gatineau, as well as over in Montreal. Over the next week, temperatures tonight quite cool. So if you're doing any outdoor camping, make sure you bring some warm layers. 12 is the overnight low. As we head into tomorrow, 26 degrees, a beautiful summer day. We'll feel closer to 30, staying warm for Thursday. Then as we head into the weekend, sunshine for Saturday. On your roads this morning, here's a look at your drive-in, and we still do have some slowdowns to report this hour. Traffic right now, collision westbound on the 417 at Nicholas that has now been cleared, but still delays eastbound on the 417 between Carling and Rochester. Build up as well in the Queensway between the 174 split and Nicholas. Slowdowns westbound on the 174 approaching the 417.
And still ahead on the show, it's a commonly misunderstood mental disorder that still carries a great deal of stigma. Coming up, we hear from the folks behind the Ottawa Walk for OCD and learn more about how obsessive-compulsive disorder impacts those who live with it. Our guests are standing by in the Your Morning Ottawa Lazy Boy Lounge. We'll talk about the walk, we'll talk about OCD, and everything that you need to know. We'll take a peek outside through our Centennial Glass Skycam. Fog finally starting to clear away. Will temperatures hold strong as back to school looms over the next week? Stay with us, friends. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. It's a commonly misunderstood disorder that can have a major impact on a person's daily life. The 1 Million Steps for OCD Walk aims to raise awareness to fight stigma around obsessive-compulsive disorder. Caitlin Claggett-Woods is a clinical psychologist with Anxiety Ottawa, and Justine DeJager lives with OCD. They're both here to talk about the disorder as well as the wonderful walk. Good morning to the two of you.
Good morning.
I think it's really important, too, before we get into this conversation, just to talk a little bit about what OCD is clinically speaking.
Okay, so two main components. One, these intrusive thoughts, these kind of horrible what ifs that keep recurring to you over and over again. And then two, these repetitive actions that a person engages in to try to get rid of the thoughts or to try to prevent something bad from happening. And then, of course, on a clinical diagnosis standpoint, that the thoughts and actions take up a certain amount of time of a person's day that is causing clinically significant distress or causing impairment in functioning. Those are really the key things that make a disorder diagnosable.
And why do you think there's still so much stigma around this subject? And, you know, obviously that's one of the main pillars that you hope to achieve with this walk, to hope to end that. But why is that still here?
So I don't even know that stigma is the correct word, because so many people, I'd say the vast majority of the public doesn't even know what OCD is. You know, the idea is that OCD is putting things in a particular way, or perhaps like maybe washing your hands a lot. That's not what OCD is. OCD is these recurrent what ifs, right? What if I hit somebody with my car? What if I am a sexual predator? What if I hurt someone on purpose? What if I can never stop thinking about this blinking? What if I kill myself? I don't want to at all, but what if I do? It's these perpetual what ifs that completely go against somebody's wants or understanding of themselves, but that just they cannot stop from coming into their minds.
Well, I think that's why it's so important to have a walk like this, to raise awareness and funds, you know, to help people in these situations. And Justine, you live it every day. Can you try to walk us through just what a daily life is like for you with this?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, my daily life right now, I barely notice it, because it is, while a highly misunderstood disorder, it's also a highly treatable one. So I've had the great fortune of seeing some wonderful clinicians and receiving wonderful treatment, such that, I can now manage it. It's not curable, but it can become manageable in the day-to-day. But, if we flash back to, let's say, 15 years ago when I was first diagnosed, it was these awful recurrent thoughts of, for me, it took on the flavor of, what if harm comes to my family or friends and it's my fault? And that could be, it manifested as, what if I accidentally set fire to the house, so I better check the stove, 100 times before I leave. What if, I've offended God in some way and he's going to punish my family member, so I'm going to pray incessantly. So it's that kind of obsession and then that compulsive behavior. And it was debilitating. Like, it took hours out of every day. The anxiety it felt at times overwhelming. It got to the point of, at crisis points of needing hospitalization and suicidality. So it's a really serious disorder, but again, also a highly treatable one. Once I found out what it was, once I found out the supports I could get, it's manageable now. I go to support groups, but it's manageable on the day-to-day.
If I could just add a piece there, the way that I like to describe it is like, we don't like to say that we can cure it, because it's like, well, can you really cure diabetes? However, somebody can enter remission, as in on the daily, they don't even I've had clients, I've had clients tell me, it's like, I don't even notice that I have these thoughts anymore. I forget that I ever had OCD. So remission is absolutely possible, and that's a really important message, because a lot of people come to my office and thinking, they tell me, am I just going to know the tools to manage these thoughts that keep coming? And it's like, that's not how it is. As we stop treating thoughts like they're important through our therapy, exposure, and response prevention, these thoughts stop coming to you frequently and intensely, and you enter remission.
Really important to take that step to help. Quickly before we let you go, can you remind people about the walk?
The walk. So it is happening on September 19th at 3:30. If you raise 75 Canadian dollars, then you will be eligible for the blue T-shirt, which is the sea of us, all in our blue T-shirts. It is an awareness walk. We do a short walk of about 1.7 kilometers. And there's raffle prizes afterwards. There are lawn games. We have our food truck, Lucy's Hot Fries, coming, in addition to our ice cream truck coming back again this year. There's a playground for the kiddos. And it's just a great opportunity for folks to connect with others from the community and to show those that are currently struggling that they're not alone.
A really important day. Caitlin, we want to thank you so much for coming on and giving us just a little bit of an idea of what it's like. And Justine, thank you for your courage for coming on today as well and sharing us some of your story. Really appreciate the two of yours time.
Thank you so much.
Melissa, back over to you.
And coming up, keeping the back-to-school illnesses away, we will get a back-to-school health checklist from pharmacist and author Sherry Turkis coming up next. We are getting you ready for back to school with everything you may need for the school year. And Sherry Turkis is joining us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, it's that time back to school we're all talking about, and some things we need to do as parents to help our kids succeed this year.
That's right, getting them back into that regular routine. Because in the summertime, they stay up later, they maybe sleep in, their diets may be a little off. So it's really important to try to be a little proactive if you can, just getting into that week before school. Starting to get them back on eating a healthy breakfast, super important for brain energy. Oatmeal is always a great breakfast food because it's high in soluble fiber. You can add some fresh fruit or dried fruit into that. The more fruits and veggies, the better. Healthy honey to sweeten it up if they need a little bit of that.
Omegas.
Yeah, omega-3s, so important. And the fact is most children are not getting nearly enough omega-3s. So we know that the omega-3s, EPA and DHA, are very important for brain development and brain function and cognitive health. And there's been a lot of evidence to suggest that children that have troubles with focus, concentration, maybe some behavioral challenges could be deficient in omega-3s. Now, I know getting kids to eat fish.
It's hard.
It is tricky unless they're breaded fish sticks and deep fried, which aren't the healthiest. You do get a little bit of omega-3s in some plant-based sources such as chia seeds. But this is where a supplement can be really helpful. And there are chewable supplements that you can find in health food stores and pharmacies. So this one in particular is called Equizin. This is a European product. It's actually the #1 selling product in Europe for ADHD. So this actually has specific claims. There's been 19 clinical studies showing that this can help with learning, focus, and attention.
Incredible.
So it really makes a difference. Now, it doesn't work instantly right away, so you need to get the kids on this early. I had my son taking omega-3s, probiotics, all of these things in the early years to set them up for good health, because if they're not eating enough omega-3s, really a supplement is the best way to go. And so you can find that at Shoppers, Amazon, different places. So that's easy to find. Okay.
Probiotics.
Gut health, right.
Yes.
So gut health is super important to keep the bad bacteria away and also to support immune health. 80% of our immune system is in our gut. So it's really important to encourage kids to have foods like yogurt drinks. I mean, kombucha, a great alternative to soft drinks. It's carbonated, it's very low sugar, it has the prebiotic bacteria, which is very good for gut health. But also, again, a supplement can be really helpful. If your kid doesn't like yogurt or yogurt drinks, or you're looking for the consistent benefits, that's where supplements. So this one here by Now, it's a probiotic chewable. That's good for kids and adults. It has 10 strains of probiotic, that's the beneficial bacteria, along with prebiotics. So this could be a daily supplement for just good gut health, digestion, and immune system support.
Incredible. Speaking of immune system, I'm seeing some familiar favorites here.
Right, so you know, these are things from my own home, my own supplement cupboard, things that I take myself and I give to my son as well. So when it comes to immune system, as we get into September, October, the kids are closer together, sharing the germs. It's a matter of time before they catch colds or flus. So this is something that you can take or give to your kids daily. It's an immunity drink by Sambucol. So Sambucol is a black elderberry extract that's been studied for its antiviral benefits and its immune support. So what I do is I just mix one of these packets with water. You can send that in your child's refillable water bottle. It tastes good.
It tastes good. So this is my kid approved. My children, Luke and Lola, love it.
Yes.
They asked for it. And I will say, last winter was one of our healthiest winters ever. And I did introduce that into
it makes a big difference. So I drink this myself every day, my son as well. Now, if you do find your child's coming down with a cold, the sniffles, the congestion, you know, just it's starting to happen. So that's where you want to get on it at the first sign. So this is a nasal spray. It's called Betadine.
Okay.
So this nasal spray, just spray it into the nostrils. And what it does is it traps and disables viruses in the sinus cavity so that they don't replicate and spread. So if you use that at the first sign, it actually helps to shorten the duration and speed the healing, as well as helping with the congestion and runny nose.
Only about 30 seconds to tell us about this one, and this is one that parents
head lice.
know. Yes.
We dread head lice.
We dread head lice.
And I find more and more parents are looking for non-pesticide head treatment, head lice treatment. So this one here, NIDA, it is actually more effective than the pesticide treatments. No risk of resistance, scalp irritation. It's dimethicone, so it works by killing the lice with a physical method versus a chemical method. Spray this onto the scalp, massage it through, comb it through.
The little comb.
Yeah, then you leave it on for 8 hours, so overnight, and then you use one of these special lice combs, and you can see how tiny the tines are in this comb. That's to remove the eggs, and then you repeat the application in 9 days. But this is, as a mom and as a pharmacist, this is what I would use and recommend if head lice comes home, because you want to use a non-chemical, non-pesticide method.
Well, thank you for joining us today and getting us ready for back to school. And of course, if you want more information, you can head online to Sherry's website.
Good morning. Just after 8:30. Hope your morning is going well. I'm Rosie Edden.
Happy Tuesday. I'm Will Aiello.
And I'm Melissa Lamb. And we just want to give you a little update with the forecast this morning. Of course, I've been mentioning that there is fog. No fog advisory, but it looks like it's having an impact over at the Ottawa airport. It looks like there's some delays with flights trying to take off and land. So if you are heading to the airport this morning, just check your flight status to make sure it is on time.
Yeah, definitely some good advice, because you never know at this point how long it would take, and you don't want to rush the airport or potentially miss it as well.
Good news. Well, not good news, but good reporting on that. And we'll take a look at the weather in a couple of minutes. But right now, we're going to get you up to date on today's top stories. Ontario Premier Doug Ford reacted to U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to increase tariffs on cars and trucks next year.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
Oh, yeah, Premier Ford not holding back there. The U.S.-Canada trade dispute turned into a war of words between Ford and Trump on Monday after Trump said in a Truth Social post he would increase tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts, and steel to 50% on New Year's Day.
This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that. We're going to fight with everything we have. And you know something? I have more courage, more brains in my baby toe than he has in his whole body.
Sources tell CTV the federal government will announce retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. later today. That is set to come into effect on September 8th. Just over an hour ago, U.S. President Donald Trump posted to social media suggesting a name change to one of the Great Lakes. It said the United States is giving serious consideration to changing the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America, in that we don't expect doing much business with Ontario any longer. In other news, Ottawa police say they are investigating a potential femicide following 2 suspicious deaths over the weekend. Sûreté du Québec first responded to a crash on Highway 50 near Papineauville shortly before 1 a.m. Saturday. A 34-year-old man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Hours later, police discovered the body of a 27-year-old woman inside a home in the city's Lower Town neighborhood. Police identified the deceased as Kessie Fevrier and Kingsley Nwude of Ottawa. The relationship between the two is unknown. Return to office mandates are now driving debate in Ottawa's municipal election race.
I will, as mayor, make clear with the federal government that I am opposed to the return to office mandate that they're imposing.
Mayoral candidate Jeff Leeper is promising to reverse the city's 5-day rule and challenge the federal mandate if elected. He also says he wants more shared federal workspaces in Ottawa's suburbs, arguing shorter commutes would save workers time and money while reducing pressure on roads and transit. Incumbent Mayor Mark Sutcliffe calls Leeper's promise counterproductive and performative. As Sutcliffe seeks re-election, he says he will boost funding for rural roads, provide dedicated funding for rural infrastructure priorities, and advance plans to build a ring road while giving rural councillors a louder voice.
They don't want, as a result of amalgamation 25 years ago, to feel like all of the attention is on downtown Ottawa and the suburban communities. They want to feel like they have a say in the decisions that impact their daily lives, just like they used to do before amalgamation.
Sutcliffe is looking to increase funding for rural roads by $50 million. OC Transpo is sharing new details on its financial situation and projected deficit this year. The transit agency is forecasting a $12 million shortfall for 2026. That includes $47 million in funding from the provincial government, which has not yet been announced. The funding would only come through when the province uploads the LRT to Metrolinx, but negotiations are still underway. The staff say the deficit is largely due to lower than anticipated ridership, which was caused by bus reliability issues at the start of the year. A grounds crew worker was seriously hurt after being hit by a plane at Montreal's Trudeau Airport. This happened around 7:30 last night. Emergency services were called after a person was hit by an airplane backing up on the tarmac. Crews were seen surrounding a plane from the carrier French B. Reports say passengers were taken off the plane at around 11:30 p.m. Montreal police say the incident will likely be investigated as a workplace accident. The winless Red Blacks are making changes, bringing in a longtime CFL executive as senior football advisor. Jim Popp spent 21 seasons with the Montreal Alouettes, and in his 30 years in the league, he's been part of 5 Grey Cups. The Red Blacks say he will advise OSEG CEO Mark Gowdy and work alongside head coach and GM Ryan Dinwiddie. The Red Blacks fired VP of Football Operations Sean Burke Sunday. The Red Blacks are 0-10 on the season. And finally, a diehard soccer fan is in need of a major haircut.
Day 688 of not cutting my hair until Man United win 5 games in a row. Day 1, day 14, day 9.
Yep, so there is a person behind that hair. This is Frank. He's a Manchester United fan who hasn't cut his hair in more than 688 days.
Wow, he has gone viral over the past 22 months after pledging not to cut his hair until Manchester wins 5 games in a row. The club finished last season with 2 straight victories. He started the challenge 8 months after United's most recent 5-game win streak, which they completed in 2024. How long will it get?
He's going to have to stay strong now. He's in it. He's got a following. So, like, maybe, imagine they just continue to win 4 games and they just can't get the 5 and it just has to keep on growing.
Look at that poof.
Unbelievable. I can't imagine how long that's going to get. I wonder what his job's like.
Right? Just, I love that head of hair, though. I mean, he's going to have a lot of hair ties, right, to you know, pull it back there. But like you said, he posted it online, so he's committed now. It's done. Yep. He's got to wait and see.
All I got to say is, thankfully he's not a Red Blacks fan, because that might be some time for them to win 5 games in a row. Just saying.
5 in a row. I think that hair would be growing.
Yeah. We're just going for 1 here, right? Yes. At this point in the season, we're like, let's just get that first win.
Yeah, it would. I think it would just be great for the whole team, for the whole city, just to get in the W column.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. There's a game coming up. Our forecast today, 22 degrees is the high into the afternoon. So temperatures just slightly below seasonal. We should be having around 24 degrees. Sun setting tonight at 7:52. Temps right now this morning, 15. So we haven't moved temperature-wise. We've been sitting there all morning long. 17 in Montreal, Cornwall, Brockville, 16 out in the valley. Still dealing with that fog, especially areas around the Ottawa airport. Some planes are having trouble landing or taking off. So make sure you check your flight status before heading out to the airport this morning. In our skies today, it will be a little bit cloudy, a little bit of sunshine in the forecast, and then there is a chance of scattered showers this morning right through into your overnight. Now, the good news is overnight tonight it's going to clear up, and tomorrow, beautiful sunny, dry conditions, lots of sunshine for your Wednesday. As we head into Thursday afternoon, we have this low pressure system moving through, so we could see a little bit of rain Thursday in through Friday, but overall Wednesday is looking absolutely stunning. Tomorrow sunny, and it will be quite hot as well. If you're heading to the golf course today, here's your golfer forecast. Of course, temperatures today a little bit below seasonal, but great if you're heading out on the links. There is a chance of some spotty showers off and on today, and we will reach our daytime highs sometime around 3:34 p.m. today, which is 22 degrees. A warm one will still feel closer to 27, 28 because there will be some humidity in the forecast. Similar temperatures throughout the region, really in the low 20s for today. 24 is the warmest place in Kingston, 22 in the valley, 23 for Gatineau into your afternoon. So over the next couple of days, temps really all over the map. Hot for tomorrow, 26 is the high. We'll feel closer to 30 into the afternoon. Lots of sunshine throughout the middle of the work week. Spotty showers Thursday and through Friday. Staying pretty mild on Thursday as we head in through the weekend. Nice and sunny for Saturday with a high of 23. Here's a look at your roads this morning. Traffic, we still have some trouble spots out there on your drive-in. Collision westbound on Saldent at March Road has been cleared now. Stalled vehicle northbound on Airport Parkway at Uplands. We also have another stalled vehicle southbound on Maryville at Herzberg Road. Delays on the eastbound 417 between Carling and Rochester. Build up on the westbound Queensway between the 174 split and Nicholas. Riverside and Bank also dealing with heavy delays due to ongoing construction.
All right, Tough Luck Wine Bar is going to be opening up in just a few days. Here to talk more about it, we got Toby and Emily. And what a great story this is. Good morning to the two of you.
Good morning.
So I love this because it's 4 friends that have gotten together. Walk me through the initial stages before we get up to the grand opening in a couple of days.
So we have been friends for like forever. Two of them are sisters.
Over there. She's over there.
She's right there. Yeah, she's there.
And for forever, we've been talking about doing something. Like, we've always been like, how can we work together? How can we have fun at work? How can we like put all our skills together into something? And finally, we decided on wine bar. There aren't really a lot of natural wine bars in Ottawa, and so that's where we decided to put our energy, and that's how we came up with Tough Luck.
I love that, and the inspiration too behind it was you were actually like, you were at like a wine bar, like, ladies, we can do this.
Oh yeah, I was sitting in a wine bar and I was like, where are my friends? Why aren't we here every day? Yeah. Like, what's this all about? Like, we gotta make it happen. No, truly, how hard can it be? Like, is there something I can sign to make it real life? And there was a lease I could sign. There was, yeah, so we made it happen.
And then as soon as you signed the lease, you're like, all right, well, we're doing it now. Here we go, we're diving in.
That was it. No, I love to have something be like, we We are committed. There's no backing out. Sorry, guys.
It's so fun. Okay, so now we're just a few days away. Thursday's the grand opening. How are we feeling?
We're feeling good. Yeah, we did our soft open Wednesday to Sunday, and it was really well received, and everything felt really good. So we feel ready.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so to give people just a little sneak peek about what they can expect, what are some of the items that you guys have brought here today?
Okay, so we brought some food and we brought some wine. So I'll walk you through the food really quick. It's really like wine bar snacks, but I have a background in regenerative farming, so sourcing local, sustainable food was really important to me. So I'll walk you through really quickly here. We have some capicola from Berkshire Pork. This is from Roxanne Farm. They're just north of Wakefield. We have some salami made in Caledon. Then over here we've got some shrimp cocktail. I know you're excited to eat shrimp cocktail at 8:30 in the morning. This is sourced from Organic Ocean. They're a company in BC. Shout out to Brooke, my seafood girl, who hooked us up with those great shrimp. And then over here, local veggies. Put a little green oil on that veggie dip. Wanted to make sure there were lots of veggie options, vegan options. So this is a tofu edamame dip with some local veggies from a really awesome farm in Low called Ferme Plein Lune. And they really focus on sustainability and regenerative farming. And then we've got some stinky cheese.
The natural fit with wine.
Oh yeah, it's too bad you guys don't have smell-o-vision because it is stinky.
In the best way though.
These are cheeses from Quebec. We've got 2 bries basically, and some house-made jams, plum and onion. And the plums we actually harvested from my sister's backyard last year. So yeah, super local.
Shout out to the sister. Okay, the Italian in me needs to absolutely steal one of these pieces of salami just because that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
So now let's get to it. Tell me a little bit about the drinks.
Okay, so the wine, we have kind of come up with a really fun little wine list. So none of us are sommeliers and none of us are wine experts. We're just wine lovers. And so something that we wanted to kind of structure it on was basically people that we can get behind. So like farming practices that we support, winemakers who kind of share the same values as us, women-owned wineries, queer-owned wineries, price points from all over the map so that everybody can come in and drink wine, and then kind of all on the pillar of being delicious. And so that's kind of how we came up with this. We've got a really awesome selection here of stuff. We've been pouring some of these by the glass. They're truly all so good. They're from all over the world. There's some local options from close to home. Yeah, so we kind of just go through, we meet with our wine suppliers, we taste what tastes good, we read up about the stories, and we make our purchases based on that.
And what's really important too is obviously with the wine you have alcoholic options, but you also have non-alcoholic options as well, which you brought with you today.
Yeah, so we brought a couple non-alcoholic options. So you can see here we have this Drinks Farm Seltzer, which is a really awesome product made by Drinks Farm out of Prince Edward County. So this one here, I'll pour you a little bit of this. This is a honey and sea salt. Super yummy, super light. It's kind of like you can drink it in the evening, but it's also not gonna hurt like to drink the morning after a lot of wine as well. It's kind of got a little bit of that electrolyte sort of feeling. It's very yummy.
I love that. As I try this too, what's the overall, vibe that the four of you are trying to establish when people come and check you out?
I mean, a word that we keep coming back to is sexy. Yeah.
All right.
I've heard it be said, and I maybe we've been saying it a lot, but Tough Luck Wine Bar is going to be the sexiest place in Ottawa. Yeah. There is just like something about a place where you feel comfortable. There's something about a place with all your best friends, with things that you're excited about, with things that you're proud of. A space that's beautiful, that's things that we've made with our own hands. Like we made the bar, we made the banquette, we laid down the floor. Like we did everything from the ground up, like the support of our friends and family. We created a space that just encapsulates everything that means something to us, everything that we love. And it's just
It's amazing at this point, and the four of you are just a couple of days away. Thursday it all opens. Thanks to the two of you for coming on the show today, and congrats and good luck in a couple days ahead.
Thanks, Will. Thank you.
All right, if you want to be featured on our kitchen, email us yourmorningottawa@ctv.ca, and we would love to have you on. Outside their Centennial Glass Sky Camp, the perfect day for maybe a little glass of wine, whether there's alcohol in there or not. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
A fast-growing sport, flag football, is really taking off, especially with Team Canada men and women going to participate in the 2028 Olympic debut of the sport. I have got here Otis Coker, we got Leah Kim, and we also have Kennedy here. Both are athletes with the Royal Diamond flag football team. Good morning to
Good morning.
all of you.
Good morning.
Okay, Otis, you are the founder of Ottawa Royal Diamonds women's flag football. Why did you want to start the team?
So we started because I'm a big football fan. My daughter fell in love with the game, and we decided that, you know what, we're going to just take our own path, start this up, and start an organization within Ottawa. And we were lucky enough to have a ton of interest because of the growth of the game as well, too.
Okay, tell me about the sport of flag football. We are just recently, a lot of viewers, I think, were introduced to it when we had on a couple of the national team members who came back victorious from the World Championships.
Yeah, amazing.
What is it about flag football? There's something about it. It seems to be growing in popularity.
Well, I think with flag, it's because the tackle has been, there's so much, you know, violence, head injuries in flag football. A lot of the girls were getting interested because they like the game of football, but they actually just wanted to, you know, shorten it up a little bit, be able to, you know, try something different. And, you know, it's starting to take off in Canada, the U.S., even internationally as well, too.
Yeah, we're looking at some pictures there of a Royal Diamond flag football team in action. Kennedy, talk about the game, the position that you play and why you like it so much.
Really, with the position I play QB and DB. QB because it really teaches me about leadership and what I can do to help others bring their confidence up. And DB is just fun to play. I just find it fun in general. The whole game just is really, like, just makes me really happy when I'm meeting new girls in U.S. wherever we go. Canada, U.S., different states. It's just really fun.
What are some of the qualities that you need, Leah Kim, to be a really good flag football athlete?
You need to be coachable, disciplined, and pretty much all you need is to be an athlete, and then everything comes with it during the game and the sport that you love.
What's the position you play?
I play wide receiver and safety on defense.
Wide receiver and safety on defense. Okay, we're going to show me a thing or two. We're going to bring in Melissa as well. I love the fact that this is girls flag football.
Love it.
So, and like you said, you're not worrying about that the concussions, the contact, the heavy contact, just some skills.
Just skills.
There's Melissa. There we are. So why don't you show us, what do we need to do here?
Well, the only thing is, normally if you guys don't catch, you have to do like 15 push-ups.
Oh no!
Okay. We're gonna take it easy today.
Okay. Appreciate that.
But okay, there we go. So we're gonna have Kennedy as the quarterback.
Kennedy's the quarterback. Okay.
And we heard that you're an athlete as well. So
an
why
Olympian.
don't you take on the receiver position? We're gonna throw to you.
Oh Lord.
Okay. And you guys are gonna be the defenders to start. Okay. Does that work?
Oh, try and like get in the way and everything, Melissa.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go over here, Kennedy.
You're gonna have to coach me and show me what to do.
Okay. You're gonna throw this way, and I'm to receive it.
Yeah, you're
coming
coming
over here.
So you're facing here.
So
she'll be running.
And then
you're just gonna turn around.
We're gonna just kind of do a little bit of a jog.
You just have to stay with it.
Then we're gonna turn here. Kenny's gonna throw it to you.
And throw it to me. And then what's Melissa gonna do?
Melissa's gonna try.
You can just do like this, like be a defender.
Yeah, Melissa's gonna just like try to get her hands on you and pretend there's a flag there.
Okay.
And pull it through.
So as soon as I get the ball, then you can take the flag, and that keeps me from running.
Exactly.
Right.
Then you're gonna try to make it. Typically, you would try to make a move on Melissa and get through, but we'll see how much space we got here. How quick everybody is.
All right. Leah Kim, what are you gonna be doing?
You're gonna be with me.
She's the
coach her.
Yeah.
And then when I say
Two defenders. All right. We both take Rosie.
When you say go, okay. All right.
ready, go.
Okay, you can go to her. You can go to her.
Okay.
Got it.
Grab her.
Then you guys
There you go.
And now you got it. This is so much fun. Do you want to try and catch
Sure,
it?
yeah, I'd love
Okay.
to be a receiver.
We'll go the other way
All right.
around.
No push-ups for you, so you're good to go.
Oh my God.
Okay,
When
coach.
she comes,
Yeah, when she
you
comes.
just have to
Okay.
go to her and put one hand.
Just put one hand.
Yeah, just shadow her.
Right, so I don't have to tackle her. It's
No,
like
no,
one
no. Yeah,
hand.
yeah,
Touch, flag, football. Here we go.
Ready, go.
Come on.
Okay, go to her.
Oh!
Grab her flag.
Grab her flag.
There you go.
This, obviously, we're being very gentle with
Yeah.
it and just breaking down the basic elements of flag football.
Yeah.
But I can see how funny. Melissa, thank you.
Yes.
Coming by
So
here.
Thank you so much. Good
Very
catches.
nice to you guys. So, Royal Diamond. Royal Diamonds, where y'all play next?
We're actually in Vegas next week.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
we're going to Vegas next
Yeah?
week. We have a 3-day tournament there.
Yeah.
First time in Vegas with the girls, so we're excited about
Fantastic.
that.
Thank you so much, Otis, Leah Kim, and Kennedy. You guys are awesome. Thank you for showing us a thing or two. You're watching Your Morning Ottawa. We'll be right back to wrap up the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.